Welcome, race fans, to Fan for Racing Radio. This is our Hamlin's House Allgaier Statement and Pocono Surprises Hot Topic Sound Off for episode 2619. And this weekend, Pocono Raceway once again lived up to its reputation as NASCAR's tricky triangle, delivering dominant performances, surprise contenders, and plenty of questions heading into the heart of the summer stretch. Denny Hamlin reminded everyone why Pocono has become known as Hamlin's House, putting together another masterful performance at a track where he continues to build one of the most impressive records in NASCAR history. But what does his latest victory tell us about his championship chances in 2026? Meanwhile, Justin Allgaier has made a major statement in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, proving once again why he's among the toughest competitors in the garage. Was this simply just another win, or could it be the turning point in his championship battle? We'll also break down the biggest surprises from the weekend across the NASCAR Cup Series, O'Reilly Series, and the ARCA Menards Series. Which drivers exceeded expectations? Who left Pocono with more questions than answers? And what are the biggest takeaways as the season continues to heat up? Joining me tonight are Jay and our newest Fan for Racing member, Reid, as we dive into the winners, losers, hot topics, and headlines making moments from Pocono Raceway. This is Hot Topic Sound Off, episode 2019 or 2619. Get your motors revving and let's get started. Welcome, everybody. I'm really looking forward to tonight's episode. And Jay is here. Welcome to Jay.
Sure. My body is here. Go ahead and introduce Reid and talk about him for a minute, because you know I'm scrambling trying to get everything ready.
Okay. And we have our newest member to the Fan for Racing crew here tonight, Reid Scarce.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. Okay.
Good job. You're 1 for 1.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yep.
Reid, why don't you take a minute to just tell us about yourself? I did a little bit in bits and pieces, but it always sounds better when it's coming directly from you.
All right. Well, hey, everyone, I'm Reid. I've grown up in the North Texas DFW area my whole life. It's pretty hot right now, so I'm happy to be in some AC, but I'm a digital media student at Tarleton State, so I'm really excited for this opportunity. I've been a NASCAR fan for as long as I can remember, so this year's going to be a lot of fun, just talking about NASCAR and interacting with everybody, so can't wait for it.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to it as well, Reid. And Hunter Blazer has already chimed in saying, good evening, fellas. Great time with the Cup Series race this weekend. And Hunter was at the track this weekend out at Pocono Raceway. So he can really tell us from that point of view here tonight. And Jamie Schweitzer is here. He is from the Lake Norman, North Carolina area. So he has some little tidbits that he can share with us from time to time as well. So welcome to Jamie and to Hunter. And I hope that All Sports All Day shows up a little bit later as well. So we've got a lot to talk about, but only 3 races tonight to go over. We'll start with the ARCA Menards Series, then we'll go to the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, and we'll end with our NASCAR Cup Series. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull up our the image file here, or not image file, but I'm going to the share screen. I got to stop this one. and share a different screen instead, because usually I give the rundown for each series as we go into it. And so we're going to start, like I said, with the ARCA Menards Series first. So with that, it's up on the screen. Do I need to make it bigger, guys?
I can see it.
You can see it okay?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. I think I can make it a little bit bigger here. Let me just try. Let's try 150. Okay. We're gonna start with Gio Ruggiero continuing his dominance. We'll give you the race results and a big question. And then Jake Bowman strengthens his championship position. We'll go over the points report. Joe Gibbs Racing flexing its muscle. Gavin Bushell's comeback drive. Laney Bice is still turning heads. Pocono's return was a success, and the battle for the rest of the season and the key takeaway. So we'll go ahead and get right into it with Gio Ruggiero continuing his dominance. You guys want to start with your thoughts about Gio Ruggiero winning again in the ARCA Menards Series?
Yeah, I can start out real quick. So I think Gio Ruggiero, definitely at Pocono, he by far had the best car. He just completely dominated that whole race. He hasn't been racing full time, but in the starts that he does come to the ARCA Menards Series, he's always up there at the front. Most races he leads the most laps, and even when he doesn't have the best car, I'm thinking about Kansas. Michigan, he was up there in contention, but honestly, I thought Jake Bowman probably was going to give him a run for his money. But Gio Ruggiero, regardless of whether or not he has the best car, I mean, this week he for sure did, but he's just a guy that you can count on to win when he's put in some good equipment. He's made some mistakes this season, but I've been really impressed with Gio Ruggiero.
Jay?
Yeah, you can't call it a surprise. You put one of the best drivers or very talented driver in one of the best cars, especially when it comes to the ARCA Menards Series, you're going to have this combination. And I know that kind of turns fans off, but if you do watch, there were some that were definitely in contention. You know, Reid mentioned Jake Bowman. He is there still being the hunter, but right there with them. And we saw Thomas Annunziato, again, just that little bit. As soon as they find that just small tick, they're going to be right there as well. They already are for the most part, week in and week out, when it comes to matching up with JGR, but they're still just missing that one little bit. So, yeah, it wasn't a surprise. I don't know if All Sports All Day has put up they're here yet and put up the rankings. I can understand where someone would rank this as a low-ranking race because Gio did pretty much dominate, out front and run away with it. But if you can get beyond that and look at some of the other storylines and what the future holds, I still get excited about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Hunter brings up a good question. He says, Sharon knows I'm tired of seeing Gio in ARCA, of course, but he's the dominant one. And let me ask you this. Is there going to be a fatigue factor if he keeps winning? And that could be asked of almost every race this weekend.
I think there already is kind of a fatigue factor because he's been so great in the races that he started in. But honestly, when I watch NASCAR and I see that there's a clearly dominant driver, especially in the ARCA Menards Series, because that series is a little top heavy nowadays, as it's pretty developmental. But I do think that dominant races can actually open up some more storylines later down in the field. So guys running towards the back, maybe they can get some good runs going there for their small teams. And I think it opens up some more opportunity to focus on some of the smaller drivers that maybe, can't contend for that moment. And honestly, some of the full season points implications, Gio, he's not in contention right now because he's not starting every race, so you can focus more on the other contenders, like you mentioned, Bowman and Annunziata. So I think dominant races, albeit like, pretty boring when you're focused strictly on who wins the race. I enjoy the full season implications of it.
Okay, Jay.
Very well said, Reid. That's exactly it. And I know, Dave Moody on that when they talk about the Jeff Gluck poll. It's not whether it was a good race. It's whether or not your favorite driver won is what you determine whether or not it was a good race. But as a true fan of the sport, you're right. Do I tire of? I appreciate the talent. We know he's got the talent, and he's going to start doing the same in the Truck Series at some point. But go beyond that, and there again, can you see the future when Jake Bowman, Thomas Annunziata, and these other drivers are either in contention or beat them? You know that, hey, this is the next big thing because they went toe-to-toe with the current big thing, So that's what I look for. Yes, I understand. And like I said, if somebody were to rank this race as a 5, I get it. I fully understand it. I may not rank it as that because I'm watching a lot of other things, but I understand why somebody feels that way or sees it that way.
Well, what was really amazing is not only was he dominant, but he won by a margin over 14 seconds in that
Pocono.
race.
That's just such a huge. That's like the entire. I don't even know.
It was his 4th win in ARCA in just 5 starts this season, reinforcing the idea of whenever he's in the field, he's the driver that everybody else chases.
Yep. I enjoy, and then there's that other aspect of that, every time Ruggiero is racing, it reminds me of like that bounty that a couple years ago that some of the other drivers put on Kyle Busch in Truck Series. And, it brings up some more challenges to see like who can maybe beat JGR. They're the ones to beat. And if one of those younger drivers is able to do it, it makes the win more impactful for them and for other fans who may be watching.
Okay, so yeah, that's a really good point. I am going to bring up the race results here, though. Is that big enough for everybody?
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, so Gio Ruggiero, obviously the number 1 guy in this particular race by 14.342 seconds. Gavin Bushell, another good run for him in 2nd place. Carson Brown having a great year, a 3rd place podium finish for Carson. Jake Bowman, your series points leader, in 4th place. And Laney Bice, again, a top 5 finish for Laney Bice. Let's talk about that first. Well, hold on. I'm going to kind of stop myself. We're going to get to some of those already, so let's just wait. I'm going to go ahead and finish the top 10 here. Thomas Annunziata in 6th, Daniel Dye in 7th. Then it was Jade Avedizian and Jason Kitzmiller. Ryan Vargas rounds out the top 10. Now, we've had women racing in this race, 4 women on a regular basis. Laney Bice and Jade Avedizian making the top 10. Isabella Robusto came in with a 13th place finish, and Destiny Spurlock finished in last. She was 57 laps down. Isabella Robusto 2 laps down. And full disclosure here, I was celebrating my granddaughter's birthday this weekend, so I did not see any of the races. So that's why I'm relying on Jay and Reid for this week.
No worries. I was very impressed with Laney. I've also been pretty high on Isabella Robusto. I think she's definitely got a lot of she's one of the drivers I think of, who can be steady and consistent. But Laney Bice, I think she's got a ton of raw speed. Hunter here in the comments, she won the pole and finished up front, shows she can maintain speed. When I look at drivers who can qualify well, one of the main things you want to look for during the race is whether or not they can stay up front. I think she did a great job of that. It was going to be hard to beat Gio Ruggiero and JGR, and I think she did a great job contending.
That's exactly right. You mentioned it and you saw it building of showing speed during a race or overcoming something, getting up to a good finish. Started this one on the pole and maintained and was in contention throughout the entire race, and then not making some of the little mistakes that every driver does as they develop, male or female. And it looks like we got another new comment there. Sharon, you'll have to read that.
Damien.
That's one I don't get on the YouTube. So,
oh, that's a Facebook comment. It says,
right.
He says there's quite a few ladies in some lower divisions, and with a little luck and a lot of money, they could make that jump to the Premier Series with time. And I totally agree. I think we've got some prospects right here in the ARCA Menards Series.
I think the biggest thing that Reid said there with Isabella Robusto, though, is that consistency week in and week out, coming back from bad luck, mechanical issues, whatever it be, but she does stay in there consistently. Now, right now, we've seen a real jump from Lainey Bice as far as qualifying up front and staying up there and running up front, so kind of getting the attention. But overall, I think you hit it, Reid. Isabella Robusto is the one we see that most consistency from week in and week out, year in and year out, when we look at her from last year as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you guys. So getting back to Gio Ruggiero, though, let me ask this question. This is the big question for tonight. Is Ruggiero simply the best ARCA driver competing this season, or is Joe Gibbs Racing's program operating on another level? So which is it, the driver or the organization? Because it could be whatever.
Well, drivers in NASCAR, I hear them say a lot that the results based on raw pace tend to come down to 65% car, the other 35% driver. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's a mix of both. I do think Gio Ruggiero is a great prospect. I don't want to throw the word generational around, but I definitely see a future of him, like a great career in the future for him. But I think JGR, they've shown it with William Sawalich. He went back to back in 2023 and 2024. I just think the gap that JGR has over the field makes it pretty difficult for any other drivers to compete regardless of the driver. Now, we have seen drivers in the ARCA series in JGR just not contend at all. So you need a certain aspect of talent to be able to win races and contend. And Gio Ruggiero, he proves that he can do it and dominate. So I think I would go, I'd say I agree. I think Gio Ruggiero is probably the best guy in ARCA whenever he decides to race.
Okay, Jay?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put it at a percentage, but it does start with the car, and we know JGR as an organization is going to, as a whole, put out one of the best top cars. Then when you get to the driver, and Gio had his mistakes you mentioned early in the year in a couple races, and as he's grown through all the racing he's doing to develop, made some mistakes and adjusted and grown from them. So, they jokingly say you put anybody in a JGR or a Hendrick, at NASCAR's top level, anybody can win in them. No, that's not true. As Kevin Harvick always said, though, you can have the best talented driver in the world. You put them in a slow car, they can't do anything. So that's why I said at least I say 50% of it has to you look at the car, because that's where it starts. Best driver in the world can't make a slow car go faster.
Okay. Damian Bean says a little bit of both, but it's JGR.
And that's where I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah. I think so. Guy wins these races and can't even put on a smile for the camera. Well, yeah, he's got a little work on his personality a little bit, his forward face, if you will. And Damian Bean says, I think JGR is offering him there's a great opportunity to hone his skills in good equipment, but he can drive. And we know that in these lower tiers, this is where drivers develop. So that development will come as he ages as well. So any other thoughts there, Jay?
I think a big thing too is, and he's not the worst, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but when it comes to the truck series, maybe not quite as successful as what he thought he might be or wants to be. That confidence builder of that when you go back to another series, just say, hey, I do know how to drive. We'll get better where I'm at, and it's struggling right now or advancing. So I think it is a good thing for the sport. For the fans, I get it. You get tired of it. Feel like the big dogs are coming down and cherry picking, but it does benefit the sport as a whole. And then we mentioned these other drivers that are following that carrot. Eventually, they're going to catch it, and they're going to know, and you're going to know, hey, this person's got it because they just got to or beat the best.
Any other thoughts, Reid?
Yeah, of course. So back to what you're saying, I think on, short term, fans might not be too happy about seeing Gio Ruggiero dominate another race. But in 10 years, if Gio Ruggiero comes out and wins like a bunch of championships in the Cup Series, pretty unlikely. But I think the fans that watch him dominate in ARCA are going to appreciate that they got to have that experience watching him. So, yeah, I think he's, and also back to his personality. Yeah, from his radio and post-race interviews, he's a pretty intense guy. I think if he could lean into that a bit more and, with an excitement, I think it could be pretty good for the sport. But he's got some things that he needs to work on, closing out races. Like ARCA definitely is going to help with that. But I was there about a month ago at Texas when he was battling with Hocevar there in the closing laps, and he just got loose and he lost like 10 positions when he could have won. So I think ARCA is definitely a place where he can hone in those skills a bit better and then use what he learned to race in the Truck Series.
Good point. Okay, now Hunter says, I want to see him in the trucks where he has real competition. That's a good point too. But he is young, and so I think the ARCA experience does help hone in on some of the other off-track kind of skills, and just on-track skills too. But he'll develop as he ages, I think. But let's go to the points report, Jay. And I know you typically cover that for us, so I'm going to bring it up here in just a second. This is for the ARCA Menards Series. So let's go over that.
All right. Well, if you saw Jake Bowman post-race interview, again, did he want to win the race? Absolutely. But what did he key in on? He still gained points. He hasn't completely closed the door. We're not even halfway through the ARCA Menards Series, but he's still gaining points little by little. Right now, an average finish of 6.1 has a 27-point lead over Thomas Annunziato. A little bit better stat line, 8 races, 5 top 5s, 7 top 10s. Mentioned that average finish 6.1. I believe of the regulars, Gio Ruggiero's is 1.8, but again, he's part-time. Daniel Dye just getting back in, only has 5 races, 8.4. Carson Brown at 2.3. Gavin Bichelle now at 3.3. But and I say regulars, doing the full season, he's got a 4-position average over Thomas Annunziato, 10.1. And I said he was one that might be able to sneak in and start chipping away at the points lead. Then Ryan Vargas, and he said he felt like his season might be done already. He did show up with sponsor and get to the track, got him a top 10, but again, now falls back 33. From 4th on back, Isabella Robusto worked her way back up to 4th, minus 60. Jason Kitzmiller had a rough day, back 70. Takuma Koga, minus 84. Andy Jakoyak, and I didn't notice this until I was watching the race and all of a sudden was looking at the points, not making the race. So that's his first race miss. He has a win, but is 7th in points and minus 85. Then you got Michael Maples in 8th, minus 99. Gio Ruggiero with that win, 4 wins, 5 top 5s in 5 races, back into the top 10 in 9th. And then Alex Clubb and Bobby Earnhardt and Brad Smith, as far as 12, are the drivers that have made all 8 starts. But you're looking at the top 3. Isabella would really have to go on a solid run and get a little bit of luck, as in bad luck from somebody in front of her, to catch up and close that 60-point gap over the next 12 races.
Okay, now Jake Bowman is really strengthening his championship position. He's the points leader. He didn't have the race winning speed, but he did exactly what championship contenders do, which is to maximize their day. His fourth place finish allowed him to maintain the momentum in the title battle while others were struggling. So the question for everybody is consistency becoming Bowman's greatest championship weapon?
I think it is. I mean, for a lot of fans, consistency can be boring, but at the end of the day, it wins titles and saves teams a lot of money. And I think he's playing the keep it clean game right now. And one thing I think that's playing in his favor is that he usually finishes a little bit better than what he starts at. So at the end of the day, he finishes better than what he starts this race, and that goes back into consistency. Is that he's always going to be, somewhat in contention there for the end, even if he's not, and a real threat to win the race. I do think it's going to come sooner or later. I thought that he was going to give Gio a run for his money at Michigan, but the rain delay or the rain shortened event, it happens. He just got unlucky there. But I think Bowman's going to win a race this year.
Okay, Jamie says, "Welcome, Reid, to the Fan for Racing family."
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And then All Sports All Day has arrived. He's here.
Has arrived. Well, now we can get stats. I've been having to look up all these stats on my own. All Sports All Day. Come on now.
Had an iRacing race. My fault.
Oh,
He
nice.
was doing some iRacing tonight. So
There you go.
There you go. Okay, so here's his rankings. Jay was asking about that earlier. A 6 out of 10 for ARCA, O'Reilly 7 out of 10, and Cup Series. I don't know what IMP means, but in my
opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 out of 10 for the Cup Series race. Thank you, Reid. Okay,
Yeah,
we're working the ARCA right now, Jay, so go ahead.
Well, and I said All Sports All Day didn't have it up. I was pretty close. I said he was probably going to rank it about a 5, and he's got a little higher. And like I said, I understand that. I don't know between the Cup and the O'Reilly there, and we'll get to those as we get into those. But for the ARCA Menards here, again, you mentioned it, Reid, the consistency of Bowman. 7 out of 8 races in the top 10, 5 of them being top 5s. And you're right, you pointed it out. Average start 7.3, average finish 6.1. Wherever he starts, he's moving forward. And Sharon said, capitalizing on what he can get. And they are under that full 20 race point system. Think about this as they move up into NASCAR's top 3, and we have the chase format. That's going to benefit them really well, because that is what will pay dividends, is that consistency. You're going to have to start knocking out some wins. I get that. But right now, a lot of times we see drivers that checkers or wreckers mentality, right? They win races, but they also wreck. And you said it earlier of it saves the owners and teams money. I mean, that's a big thing.
Okay, Jamie, or All Sports All Day explains for ARCA. It says, "Hey, look at this tight battle for second." Pans the camera to a 10-second gap behind first place. So I get that. And then Jamie Schweitzer's got some rankings here. O'Reilly, he gives it a 7, and Cup an 8 for me, despite being a Joey fan. Okay, so let's move on to Joe Gibbs Racing flexing its muscle. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but the number 18 Toyota was untouchable at Pocono after narrowly missing the pole. Gio Ruggiero took control early. He never looked back. And the performance highlighted the strength of Joe Gibbs Racing and raised questions about whether anyone can consistently challenge their ARCA program when they enter a race. Can any team match JGR's speed on larger tracks? Because it doesn't matter who gets in that car. The 18 is a strong contender every race. So can any team contend with them?
To put it bluntly, in my opinion, I don't think so. I think Bowman, he's got a shot, as some weeks. I don't know when they're going to be at, but at the end of the day, I really just think JGR is the team to beat. I don't know if anyone can match that speed, and Gio's made some mistakes, so maybe some of the other teams can maybe capitalize on that, if something happens in these late in these races. But no, I don't think so.
Okay. All sports. Last time I screamed at my TV as loud as I did during the Fox ARCA was 2020 Bristol with Matty D.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was heartbreaker.
Yeah, he says people who hate on Gio, like if you didn't put Joe Dirt in that car, he'd be able to do the same thing at large tracks. And then he says, put Sharon behind the 18 at ARCA, and we have a Hot Topics live on the front stretch. Promise you that. Yeah, that would be quite the hot topic for sure.
Yep.
Now that's one of, I know we hear that, and going back to what we talked about earlier, kind of recap of, it is a good portion of the car. You got to have a fast car to start with. But then you put in a good driver or a great driver, and you're going to have this. Is JGR the bar right now? Absolutely. I do see Nitro Motorsports as well as Pinnacle, depending on the driver and their race. They've had a couple of rough ones, but they are closing the gap. I'll say that. I think that gap is closer than what we've seen in years past, going back to when Ty Gibbs won 12 out of the 20 races, Yep. So I think the gap is closing. But, yeah, they are still the bar. I got news for you, though. You put me in the car, I'm going to hit the wall fast. I'll tell you, that's what's going to happen fast.
Well, I can't even do iRacing, so.
Right. Yeah.
I always say I'm going to be reincarnated as a race car driver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the dream right there.
That's the dream right there. All sports all day. Pinnacle can challenge. I just think overall Nitro has a lack of overall speed and skill. This is their first full year without Venturini. So I say give them some time. I think they're going to rise to the occasion.
I would say as a car and organization, I think All Sports All Day is right in that is Pinnacle is the closest in car and speed. And we see, again, they got Carson Brown and others they bring in. I think Nitro is really close. Some of that is they do a lot more with multiple drivers. As Sharon mentioned, they went through the change of, it was a buyout of Venturini, kind of getting it into what is now the Nitro Motorsports platform and direction. So I think they're close, but yeah, I do think Pinnacle, outright speed of the car, Pinnacle is probably second to JGR.
Okay, Jake? Or Jake, I mean Reid. I'm looking at Jake Bowman.
I mean, I'd love to give like a differing opinion, but I think he summed it up pretty much right there. I don't know about All Sports' skill take. I think there's a lot of skill. Those drivers have a lot of skill. Consistency, while it's harder for those guys to win some races, I think consistency is definitely a skill that a lot of guys in the lower series do not have, and they struggle to have, like we mentioned, checkers and wreckers. So, but yeah, I agree. I think Pinnacle is probably the next closest, and you got Nitro right there, but it's still JGR setting the bar.
Yeah, we all agree on that. The one thing I will tell you there, when you look at it, I mentioned, having different drivers. Nitro Motorsports is more geared towards getting in some younger and developing drivers. And I'm not saying one's right or the other, whereas Pinnacle brings in some more already established drivers to just finally hone those final few steps, if you will, from that perspective. So give some credit there. It is kind of the skill thing, but that's their program, is the development platform.
Okay. And these things go in waves. JGR is on the wave right now and has been for like 2 or 3 years. And, that wave will, decline at some point, and a new person will ride the wave. Okay. Now, Gavin Bochel's comeback drive. Gavin Bochel overcame an early blown tire that could have ruined his afternoon. Instead, He rallied through the field and grabbed second place with the last lap pass. It was one of the most impressive recoveries drives of the season. The big question, was Bichelle's comeback the most impressive drive of the race? And Jay will start. Well, go ahead. I've got a plan here, Jay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Reid. I'll explain it.
So considering who Gio Rogero's driving for, yeah, I'd agree. I think Gavin did a great job. And it goes back to what I was saying about, these drivers who dominate these races, they can be seen as boring, but it opens up storylines for other drivers in the race. And I think Gavin is kind of a testament to that because, it gives something for fans to look at that isn't the battle for the lead. And I think it was really impressive to watch. It's a skill. I talked about consistency, but adversity, that's probably one of the biggest ones in all of NASCAR. We'll talk about it, I think, later, but Carson Hocevar, got penalized pretty recently and may have parked the car. But
that's on our list.
Yep. But yeah, I think adversity, especially for younger drivers, staying steady, keeping your emotions in check. I think that's really impressive to watch, especially in the long term.
Jay, any more? Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I was coming off mute. I thought I heard my dog. No, it was really impressive. And yeah, overall, I would have to say so. The other top storyline, I know we kind of already talked about a little bit, Laney Bice. Being he is a rookie and having limited starts, I will say was a little bit surprising, but he isn't a driver I knew a whole lot about in his background. So I don't know. Maybe that is a common thing. But Reid, you're going to fit in real well here because that is something we talk about weekly of championships are built off of that. Can you overcome adversity? And that was very impressive, whether you're a veteran driver or a rookie, to be able to overcome anything like that and get a good showing, let alone a second place, certainly is something you look at then of, again, organization, because that's the Nitro Motorsports, if I'm not, is the 25 pinnacle. No, I don't know if I'm sure if I'm in the
Nitro, I think.
Yeah. Because that was Venturini's number. So there again, that organization, like I said, are they to the level of JGR? No, but I think they are certainly closing that gap. And Bichelle, I was impressed. Like I said, not that I thought he was going to do poorly, but I didn't know we expect him to be. I figured it was going to be a Carson Brown and Gio Rogerio. Brown actually kind of disappointed me a little bit, honestly, because he really wasn't a factor like I thought he would be.
All Sports says, people hate on ARCA, but there's nothing like working on a hot summer Friday, going home to AC and watching JGR win by 10 seconds with commercials every 5 laps. No feeling like it in the world.
Amen.
Did you bring your spoon tonight, All Sports all day?
Didn't even wait to bring it out. Just whack right from the get-go.
I think he's fired up.
All right, Sharon nice background, Sharon. Nice. Wow. Found a good one.
Okay. So All Sports all day. He says 12 more. Oh, Jamie says 12 more Cup wins could tie Hamlin. Yeah, we're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about all of that, Jamie. So we're in the ARCA series right now, but we do have Cup series coming up. So hang tight to that thought. All Sports says I needed 20 minutes to get the spoon into the chat. The wooden spoon. He's all fired up. So let's talk about Laney Bice turning heads. I know we referenced it a little bit already, but Laney Bice earned the pole position. She converted it into another top 5 finish while Rogero stowed the headlines. Bice's performance showed that she can compete with the series top teams on a challenging track. So the big question, could Pocono be a breakout moment for Bice this season with her second top 5 in a row?
I think so. And it's one of those of, we talked earlier about Isabella Robusto. We've seen her be pretty steady and then make small steps. In Laney Bice's, I think this was kind of not a huge step, but quite a jump from where she had been. I think we all felt like it was coming, And rather than seeing it in smaller increments week in and week out, it seemed to be all of a sudden at one place. Now, whether that is Pocono just fit her style, they hit the right setup, don't know. Hopefully we see it, and we have seen it now in back-to-back weeks, at least, of does that continue, and is that where she settles in, and then we start seeing the little bit more each and every week? I hope so, because she is one that we didn't say will be, solid into the future. It's a matter of when that switch gets turned over.
Okay. Go ahead.
One of the things that I like to think about in any of the series in NASCAR is in a driver who has limited starts in the season, what can they do that's notable in those starts? Well, Lainey Bice, she's already she got a pole and so far has finished top 5 in all 3 of her starts. Not many compare. She's less than Gio Ruggiero, but no, I agree with you. It's not a huge breakout, but I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. I think she turned a lot of heads, definitely at Pocono. Pocono's not an easy track. That's why guys like Denny Hamlin have been so good at it, and he's one of the best to ever do it. So, yeah, I think it's I think Lainey Bice is the real deal. Just some more races. So. It's still pretty early to tell, but again, what you're able to do in those limited starts matters, and winning a pole is definitely something that's noteworthy.
All Sports says, I just want to see her in more races. She only has a few left, unfortunately, and that is unfortunate. But I don't think this is going to be the last that we're going to see of Lainey Bice. If she gets a full-time ride, she'll be back and racing full-time. And, as she continues to develop, she's just going to get better. Hunter says, I saw Natalie Decker on Sunday. She was taking pictures with fans. Women in NASCAR would bring more fans for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, but it's also got to be that trade-off of, and I'm not going against Natalie Decker, but as Reid said, of the performance on the track, of progression, and then hitting some key moments, getting the pole. And that also helps, and I put up the money because I believe that is a sponsorship deal with Lainey Bice. Races like this, the top 5 finish, consistency, poles, that's going to bring in that sponsorship money. Again, all right, see All Sports all day. Yeah, I see your spoon. There's good and bad with it. I'll just say that. Is it a necessity? Yes. And that goes with male. We just talked about it, right? You got Gio Ruggiero. That's what y'all are wanting to see, a pretty face. Well, on the other side, you got the pretty face. You got to have the talent,
All Sports says Haley Deegan could have been good if she wasn't moved up too quickly. I definitely
and that falls under Danica too, though. Give Danica some that she got moved up kind of fast because of sponsorship. That was sponsorship driven of, we want to go to the Cup. You're coming with us, or we're finding somebody else.
Okay. I have some thoughts about this. So I agree that Danica, I think she's a very talented race car driver. I think she got moved up through the series too quickly. But Haley Deegan, she spent 3 years in the truck series, and pretty solid equipment. I think she spent a year with one of these years with ThorSport, and there wasn't a whole lot there. Lots of guys her age now are racing in the truck series, and I just wish we could have seen more for her. She definitely has the talent. I just don't know why some things didn't necessarily click.
Yeah, I think she was moved up too quick, and I think that she's going through the ARCA series this year. I think she's really doing it a better way this time around than she did the first time around.
Absolutely.
All Sports, 3 years, and every year was progressively worse. 2 best teams in trucks, 2 total top 10s in over 80 races. Yeah, a lot of people would agree with that.
Told you we had our stat guy in the house now.
Yep. Okay, Pocono's return was a success. The ARCA Menards Series returned to Pocono for the first time since 2023. The Tricky Triangle's unique layout once again challenged the teams with its 3 very different corners, making track position and execution critical throughout the event. The big question, should Pocono remain a permanent fixture on the ARCA schedule going forward?
Absolutely. Pocono is an extremely technical track. A lot of younger drivers in the Cup Series struggle at it, and because ARCA is a developmental series, I think you got to have a big technical track like that on the schedule. And I kind of like the idea of what they did this year. Tri-City Raceway Park. It kind of resembles Pocono a little bit. Definitely not up there in speed, but configuration wise, maybe it's kind of there a little bit, and it's in the Pennsylvania area. So, I would like to have it stay on the schedule. I think, although the race wasn't entertaining from like a winning battle perspective, I think it's a track you just got to have, especially when it's played such a big part in these national series.
Jay?
All right, I got fan hat on. First of all, yeah, love Pocono, love the races there, even when it is a runaway or one driver domination. But we've seen that at different levels. And I actually don't have another hat, but I'll take it off and put it on. The discussion was more on the truck side when it came to why they weren't at Pocono this year. But if you look at it, what the next race is San Diego. And they were talking about that with the Cup guys. They got to get back to Charlotte and leave for San Diego by Tuesday morning at the latest. So that is probably why the trucks weren't on this year. So the ARCA did get to come back in. There again, what's their schedule look like and where it matches up? Keep in mind, a lot of these aren't as funded. It costs money to do these things. So put on just for a second of an owner's or the series hat and look at it logistically, not just about that race, but all the others around it and how much they got to bounce from Michigan to, what was it? The trucks was Nashville, Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan, and then they needed that break in order to get ready for San Diego. So, but I do think it is a key track that needs to stay in circulation. If it has to be every other year or every third year, as the fan with that hat on, I get it. You're going to be disappointed. But there are reasons for it. It's not just, we thought we'd take it off.
Yeah, All Sports All Day agrees that he says yes, but yes, ARCA at Pocono, bring it back. And he says, I say next year because Chicagoland will probably leave, and add Charlotte and keep Pocono. So that's one idea that you can kind of think about when it comes to Pocono.
So Pocono usually nowadays has a June date, and I don't know how often. I don't know if San Diego Street Course is here to stay. I don't know what the information is on that. There might be something out, but if there's some logistical way to keep it in the 3 national series, I'd love to see it. I like the idea of having the truck series be more of like a short track grassroots series, but I think you do have to have Pocono. It's such a meaningful track in NASCAR, and those fans at Pocono, while a lot of time I've heard some things about like the spectator views not being the best, they still show up every single year, even for both of those races that when they used to run 2 in I think June and August. So keep it for the fans in the Pennsylvania area. I really think so.
Okay, All Sports All Day says I'm going to try to go down there next year. Oh, cool.
Yep,
Okay.
that's a bucket list one for sure.
This is a rapid round, okay, on this last question, the battle for the rest of the season. Ruggiero running only selected ARCA events while pursuing his Truck Series career. An interesting storyline remains. He may be the most dominant driver in the series, but he's not a championship favorite because he's not running the full schedule. So who emerges as the true championship favorite among the full-time competitors? Rapid fire on this one.
Bowman, if he can stay consistent, but I still have hope for Thomas Annunziato and even Ryan Vargas. I hope he doesn't, and I know they got sponsorship issues, but Bowman, if he stays consistent and gets his win, I think is it.
I think it's Jake Bowman. I think it's kind of close right now with Annunziato. Say Bowman gets a little snake bitten here. Annunziata can definitely make a run for it, but right now I still say it's Jake Bowman.
Okay. Our key takeaway for this series, the biggest story for Pocono is simple. Gio Ruggiero put on a clinic. The race wasn't won on strategy, late cautions, or overtime restarts. It was won on pure speed. The bigger question now is whether anyone can stop him when he shows up, even if he's not running for the ARCA championship. So your thoughts?
My takeaway is that when a JGR driver shows up to race in the number 8 team, whether it's Ruggiero, someone of his skill level, they're not racing the field, they're racing the track. It's about putting up the best lap times you got. So that's my takeaway.
And I'd have to almost parallel that for the championship contenders. Yes, you're probably going to have to chase them, but what can you learn from them and maintain your season? Because as you said, they're not going for the championship in the driver's side. They probably will get it on the owner's side, but run your race. And if that is slow closing gaps, make those steps to get closer each and every week.
Okay. So you guys can chime in the chat room and let us know what your key takeaway is. Now, here was my plan. I was going to let our guest, our first-time guest, Reid, go first on this round with the ARCA series, and then Jay, you get to go first on the NASCAR O'Reilly series. But since Jay jumped in on a couple, you get to choose which couple you're going to jump in on, Reid.
I'll do the O'Reilly series right now. Yeah.
Well, let me get it started first.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up, we're going to go to the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, and boy, they really put on a show. And there was the Miller Tech Battery 250 featured record-setting chaos, late race drama, playoff implications, I should say chase implications, and another statement performance from a championship leader. Justin Allgaier continues his championship march, and the biggest storyline was his 5th victory of the season, tying his career-high win total for a single year while extending his massive lead in the regular season standings. Pocono has been one of the few tracks missing from his resume, making his first victory at the Tricky Triangle and his 33rd career series win. The big question, is anyone capable of stopping Allgaier before the chase begins? So go ahead. He's going to jump in on this one.
Regular season wise, absolutely not. I really don't think there's any way anybody could make up a 250 point gap in 7 races, especially when Allgaier is not showing any sign of slowing down. Even races where, something happens to him, where he gets, unlucky on pit strategy, he still finds a way to come back and finish top 5 or in contention for the win. So if we're talking, regular season wise, no, nobody's catching up. But I will say, I like the way Corey Day has positioned himself recently. He's starting to heat up the past few weeks, and I think that when the chase eventually does start, I think that Corey Day is going to be Allgaier's biggest challenge to getting his second O'Reilly Series championship. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's one cut for you, Reid. So you got one more cut in the O'Reilly Series. Jay, your thought.
This is kind of, we just talked about it with the ARCA, and I think it's kind of the same storyline on the Cup, a little bit different in each. This is the largest. So yeah, I would agree with Reid of probably not, but we didn't think that Tyler Reddick was going to be touchable either, and we've seen it. But it's taken, the second place driver winning and then that little bit of rough stretch for the leader. Are we seeing that out of Justin Allgaier yet? No, not by any means. And he's getting the wins himself. So not looking, I believe he is actually mathematically now locked in, guaranteed into the chase already. He cannot fall out even if he were to finish last the next 7 races. Could we have a hiccup? Yes. Is it going to close up 250 points? Problem is, you mentioned Corey Day. Jesse loves the one in second. We just don't see that strong consistency of those two right behind him. So even on days when Allgaier has that little hiccup, he's still gaining points on these other two because they're having a 10th place run. Could the chase look a little different? Maybe so. But we talked about it in the ARCA. It was JGR. Here in the O'Reilly, it is Junior Motorsports. I'm trying to find a chink in that armor, and you're just not seeing it.
All those junior motors. Oh,
I'm sorry. All Sports All Day says O'Reilly had potential to be one of the best races of all time, but then they decided to wreck. But man, that racing was good. And then in this next comment, I think he was all fired up, so I got to put the fired up. He says, 4th week in a row, I'm saying this. Congrats, Justin, on your regular season. To reward you, we're going to take 9 out of every 10 points you have, leading over second. Congrats. And then Hunter is saying it was Allgaier. Corey and Love crashed out right away. Zilich's car was too tight and took adjustments all day. And Hunter Blazer says, I thought Creed could have gave him a run for the win. So
we'll get to that. I'll come back to that. I'm with you, Hunter. Yeah. We'll come to that when we do the results here in a second.
Okay. So speaking of the results, let's go ahead and bring that up for this series. And Reid, I'll let you cover the results on this as soon as we bring it up. And this will be for the NASCAR O'Reilly Parts Series. Justin Allgaier was your winner for Junior Motorsports. He gained 72 points. His win margin 0.607 seconds, and he led 35 laps. But let's go ahead and cover the top 10 here.
Yeah, so Brent Cruz, I believe that's his third second place finish of his career so far in his rookie season. It's his second straight, and I think his first win is only a matter of when, not if. He just has to, he has some minor incidents.
I think he's
during the race. I remember he spun out Patrick Emmerling pretty late in the race. It caused that caution in that late race restarts there at the end. But like at Bristol, he was going to give Larson a pretty big fight for the win, but he got in the wall, ripping the high line, and he's got the raw speed, just needs to clean it up a little. I think he's gonna come away with the win eventually this season. I don't think it's gonna be a Sheldon Creed situation. He already has 3 second place finishes, but he's right there. He's really close, but William Byron, Allgaier, he credited Byron for the win after the race. He was kind of just around there in top 5 all day.
Reid, we're going to cover all of these drivers. We're just given the top 10 drivers at this point, and the fastest lap award goes to Justin Allgaier at 55.34.
Yeah, Taylor Gray actually had the fastest lap for the majority of the race, so we'll talk about him later. But Byron gets third. He's around there the whole day. And Sam Mayer, he has to settle for 4th. He was basically the guy Allgaier was battling with for the win all the way to the end. Sheldon Creed, we'll talk about that late race restart in a second, but he comes home 5th. Anthony Alfredo had a great day coming home at 6th. Him and Parker Retzloff had some fast cars, but Alfredo was dicing it up in the top 5 for a bit. Raja Karuth, he started pretty back there in the field, but based on some pit strategy that they called late in the race, he was able to come away with the top 10 in some stage points in stage 2. Brandon Jones was our pole sitter, but he didn't show much long run speed throughout the day. And the biggest critique I have of Brandon Jones is that he's really struggled on restarts through these past couple of years. He's fires off pretty poorly, and it's hot topics, right? So that's my hot topic for Brandon Jones. And Connor Zilich, I thought he had a pretty fast car, but I think he had a little bit of damage when he spun out earlier in the race. He comes back for top 10, and then Carson Quapple comes on 10th. I think he led like a couple laps, but he was never really in contention for the win. But all Junior Motorsports Chevrolets finished in the top 10. So another testament to their dominance.
Okay. Real quick, I'm going to go through the list here and see if there's any other drivers you want to touch on.
Yeah, Taylor Gray in 17th. He won stage one pretty easily. It might have been because of clean air. We'll never know.
Yeah,
Go
we're going
ahead.
to talk about him. We're going to talk about him. He's on our list.
Brennan Poole comes home with another top 20. That Alpha Prime is a very consistent team. Brennan Poole, he's usually pretty steady and consistent, but he was actually involved in a couple incidents that were a little uncharacteristic. So you hate to see that. William Sawalich spun out pretty early in the race in stage one. And
Nick Sanchez is back.
Yes, he was. He was pretty good in practice, I thought, or he might have not been, but I remember him putting up some good lap averages, and I was expecting a little bit more of him, but I'm excited to see Nick Sanchez back in the series. I think he deserves a spot there. And all the way at the back, we have Jesse Love and Corey Day, who immediately just wrecked ending their day. So pretty unfortunate for the guys right behind Allgaier in the standings.
Yes, indeed. That I didn't see the race, but that had to be very disappointing. Okay, so let's go to the points on this one. This next topic of discussion. The playoff bubble is tightening up. Several drivers fighting around the playoff cut line had notable days. You mentioned Roger Caruth scored a solid 7th place finish. Anthony Alfredo earned his best finish of the season in 6th. Taylor Gray lost ground after his late race struggles. With the series heading to San Diego next week, every point becomes increasingly important. The big question, which bubble driver gained the most momentum, do you feel, at Pocono? Jay?
Well, if you want to pull the points up, point standings up, I'm going to slide down. As you do that, at the top, we've already talked about it, 250-point lead for Justin Allgaier. Everybody else kind of positioning, as Sharon said, looking at the bubble itself.
Okay.
Going down to, I'm going to focus on 9th on down. Sammy Smith in 8th is at 504. Sam Air 459 in 9th. 13 back is Parker Retzlaff, 446. Another 1 point back is William Sawalich, 445. Then it's another 13 back gap to Brent Cruz at 432, and he is the cut line. -3 is Taylor Gray. -5 is Raja Caruth. So that's where the focus to me is. You asked as far as momentum, Brent Cruz as well as Raja Caruth to me. Because again, Caruth was in the number 32 for Sam Hunt. He'll get more shots in the 88 of Junior Motorsports, which Reid mentioned they were all in the top 10. So to me, those are the two. Parker Retzlaff, again, doing what they've been doing all year. They finished 15th. But going back to Raja, and I had it up. Give me a second. Reid mentioned it. I'm going to actually give the numbers to clarify it. Raja Caruth started 26th and finished 7th. And then who was the other one you hit on? Oh, that was Harrison Burton. I was just looking at him separately. 23rd up to 11th.
Anthony Alfredo.
Anthony Alfredo, another one. Again, Alfredo, unfortunately, is in 17th at 319. He's got 100 points to make up with how intense these guys are going to be. But you mentioned it. Brent Cruz getting another runner-up finish. That win may have should have happened, but is coming because he has been knocking on that door. So I really think it's Brent Cruz and then Raja Caruth maybe right there with him. Y'all know my concern for William Sawalich as a Minnesota boy. He's got to pick it up because these guys are on the throttle, and he can't just ride and be consistent, get away with these top 15s because they're gaining on him.
Okay, Reid?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to go back to Brent Cruz, but I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Brent Cruz because he's one of the few guys in the National Series that's younger than me, and it makes me feel older than I could. But Yeah, I really like the Viking Motorsports Chevrolets. I feel like Anthony Alfredo, he runs pretty close to Retzloff every week. He's just unfortunately been caught up in a couple more crashes than Retzloff has. But I'm worried about Taylor Gray a little bit because he has had some bad luck this season. I feel like he's shown a lot of speed at certain tracks, and the ones sometimes his day ends pretty early, and then other weeks he kind of just runs 15th. So I'm a little concerned for that. All these Joe Gibbs racing cars outside Brandon Jones are right on the cut line. We're talking about how dominant they are in ARCA, but it is not that story in the O'Reilly Series. Sam Mayer, we'll talk about him later, but I feel like he gained a ton of momentum this race. I feel like this was one of the first races this season that he truly had like a winning car, and that was a lot of fun to see. I think that's really good for that. Disappointing finish, but I think that's ultimately a really good day for that Haas factory team. Oh, Sharon, you're muted.
Yeah, I coughed a little bit ago, so I muted myself.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so I was going over the biggest movers on the day, and not a lot of movement here. It's ones and twos, I think, throughout the whole list here. Josh Medalicki did move up 2. The ones you see there that are down are ones, and then Harrison Burton did move up 1 spot. You've got down 1 for Taylor Gray and Roger Caruth, up 2 for Brent Cruz, down 2 for William Sawalich, Sam Mayer up 2. So yeah, there's your movers for this week in that series. Any additional thoughts before I move on to the next topic here?
The thing that I think RCR needs to work on if they want any chance of contending for the championship is to get those motors better on those intermediates, because Jesse Love, while he's experienced issues and he's kind of up there at the front, Austin Hill has really struggled to find some speed and get up into the top 5 and dice it up. So those are just some of my final thoughts.
Okay, Jay.
All right, I'm typing as I say this. Yeah, based on my CW network and the disconnect to my cable company, whatever it is, I actually only got to watch about the last third of the race. I know there was some wreckage, so if William Sawalich is one that caused an early wreck, I'm not going to dispute that. And I know he is one that does need to work on consistency. But Reid mentioned it in the O'Reilly Series here. JGR started off rather slow and then looked like they were gaining momentum, but it seems like they've slacked a little bit. Specifically, you mentioned Taylor Gray. He is one of those that is either on it or not, back and forth, and that's what's hurting him as a driver, and his development is it's either hot or cold.
Okay, Hunter says, I thought Creed could have given him a run for the win. If Creed didn't ditch Mayer, Allgaier literally said Mayer's car might have been better. Jamie's saying Allgaier is the Denny Hamlin of the O'Reilly Series. UNC's still got game.
Unc still got it.
Okay. And then All Sports All Day. Who spun Zilich? Oh, yeah, it was Sawalich. Them are fighting words, boy. And then Jamie said, Austin Hill doing double duty doesn't appear to help him in the O'Reilly Series so far. All Sports says, Austin Hill, every time I start to like him, he pulls some bull. All Sports All Day says, people keep comparing Brent Cruz to Sawalich. I like Cruz. Is 13 behind Sawalich. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Cruz missed 4 races. He sure did.
Yeah. If he didn't miss those 4 races, he might be up there in the top 5, or kind of in the Corey Day area.
And I'm hard on him because I want him to be the best. Don't accept 11th in points in JGR equipment.
I'm not happy with that either. I get it.
And Jamie says, I had a fish on Lake Norman hint that Love might get the number 2 car, as Cindric may switch to the number 21 car.
I have had that rumor. We'll talk about that.
I was going to say, yeah, we'll get to that. That was kind of a.
That's on our list. Okay, so let's go to the points tightening up and the big question. You guys answered it already, so we'll go on to our next top topic here. Pocono produces a wild record-breaking race. This race actually featured a record 18 lead changes, a record 10 cautions, 7-minute red flag, multiple late race restarts that reshuffled the field repeatedly, and the event felt more like a super speedway race than a typical Pocono strategy battle. The big question here, was this the most entertaining O'Reilly Series race of the season or not? Jay?
Well, again, I didn't get to see the whole race there. That last portion of it certainly did provide some excitement. Again, every person's going to have their different opinion. I thought it was a good finish, and I don't know where to bring my spoon in here. But was Allgaier performing? By all means, yes. Do I think that race was given to him based on some moves, bold moves that did not work out at the end? I kind of feel so. It would have been interesting to see had they been able to race straight up. And again, you had some contenders, from what I heard, some contenders that could have been in it as well, taken out early on. That's beyond my knowledge.
Okay, Reid?
I thought it was a great race. The thing that I thought dragged it down for me was in stage one, there were a lot of caution laps because they were cleaning up that Corey Day, Jesse Love incident. And even later in the race, they displayed a red flag for, I think, a big wreck on the backstretch. I don't remember who was involved, but the pace of the race definitely got slowed. But I thought the racing was incredible. But I wouldn't call it the most entertaining of the season. I think Talladega earlier, like last month, that's a hard race to beat. That race was incredible. And Kansas, the one that Taylor Gray won, actually, it wasn't so chaotic. I mean, you did get that Carson Kvapil flip, but I thought that was a great race. I wouldn't put Pocono above that one, but the O'Reilly Series is becoming a bit of a spectacle right now because every single week the racing has just been incredible. So love tuning in. Yep.
Jamie Schweitzer says not. And All Sports All Day says not even close. Would have been if not for a caution fest. So we've got some controversy going.
Right.
Jay?
And that's what we love about the sport. Reid, if you didn't catch it there, I am not a big fan. I'm not anti-super speedway, but I am not a big fan of super speedway racing when it comes to that. I understand the excitement of the wrecks and whatnot, but I would much rather see, like we saw this weekend, of drivers being able to move around and try and pull out. It didn't work, and it gave the win to Allgaier, who I'm not saying didn't deserve it, because, again, he led the most laps, actually, from what I saw. So, and was there. I mean, I'm not discrediting him, but I do think it was definitely secured by the move that Sheldon Creed made. And I don't blame him. I think that's what we need, is drivers going for it. It works or it doesn't. I would have liked to have seen it wait a quarter of a lap and see who could outrace who. My big thing from that race, watching that battle and as well as the Cup, this side drafting, and I think it was prevalent there in the O'Reilly. They would chase each other side by side up and down the track, and I thought the wreck was going to happen at the front, but it actually happened third on back. And I think that was in the Cup Series, now that I think about it, because it was with Nemechek, so I'll hold on to that. But we saw that in the O'Reilly as well. That side drafting, to me, is what's causing some of the problems. The other is we're down to 7 races. It may not be for the win of the regular season championship, but points positioning. The intensity and go time has been cranked up, and I think that plays a big factor.
Okay. All Sports All Day says I'd put Dega, Bristol, and Atlanta well above.
I agree.
I don't know how I feel about Bristol, because that had a very exciting finish, but Larson was he was putting them to the test for most of that race. But Yeah, the reason I mentioned Dega was because, yeah, I agree, especially in the Cup Series, the restrictor plate speed, the restrictor plate racing is just not there right now. But in the O'Reilly Series, like I mentioned, it's kind of a spectacle. The racing's just so great. It ended under caution, but Corey Day getting his first win, that was exciting to see. They were 3 wide all those last laps. That was awesome. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, now William Byron's surprise appearance changes the finish. Cup Series star William Byron made a one-off start and nearly stole the show. On the final restart, Byron lined up behind Allgaier and delivered the push that helped propel the number 7 Chevrolet to the lead and ultimately the victory. Byron finished third after Brent Cruz slipped past him on the final lap. Without Byron's push, the big question, without Byron's push, does Allgaier win the race?
I mean that's true in any race, especially when you have Chevrolet teammates or organizational teammates. It was a combination of, when you see that which line goes hooked up the best start together, the best push, the straightest push because you can't turn them. I'm with All Sports All Day. Mayer and Creed ditched each other, so they screwed themselves. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They did not work together, but I don't blame them either because, like I said, it's go time, and I want to see that as well. I don't want to see the organization team orders, and I'm not saying there was, but I kind of like that. It just didn't work out, unfortunately.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned it before. Allgaier thanked Byron over the radio in his post-race interview, but I don't remember who it was. I think it was Parker Kligerman over the broadcast that said he should really be thanking Sheldon Creed for taking Mayer, who is his biggest competitor, out of contention. But I will say after the race, Creed was talking about that he was getting a huge push from Brent Cruz and felt like he was just having to protect his car. But I did think Sam Mayer handled it very well. Sam Mayer has been a fiery guy these past 2 years, and I was expecting, some more bickering between the two, but he was kind of like, yeah, I might have done the same. But I think Creed's 3 wide move to the bottom was really surprising because for a team that hasn't gotten a win this year, I think they were going to prioritize that. But, Creed said he had to go down low, and I guess you got to respect it as Sam Mayer.
Okay. All Sports All Day says, like, even without the push, Allgaier is 3 wide high with momentum down the long pond. Straight clears them into 2, and they're side by side, and he's gone anyway. So he doesn't think the push made the difference.
But if the Haas factory had stayed in line, I think they could have stayed with him off the corner. And the push from Byron helped. Those two separating helped, and it all just led to, especially the gap that he got. Had they stayed in line and waited a little bit, then you get into the side drafting, and we could have had a wreck. Again, it would have totally been so different. You can't predict it. But that's what I would have liked to have seen. But you mentioned it, of Creed saying he had to take the run. When you're in the car, you got that split second. You see the hole. You feel like you got the momentum, took his shot, So I don't blame him either. And like Mayer said, I might have done it too had my car had that kind of run and I felt like it was my time.
Okay, now we've already kind of talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Joe Gibbs Racing's Brent Cruz finished second and once again demonstrated why many view him as one of NASCAR's future stars. He won stage 2. He made a late charge to pass Byron on the final lap for the runner-up spot. How long before Cruz breaks through for another victory? Because he already has one. Okay. Oh, you're gonna cut this one?
Go ahead, Reid. Does Brent Cruz have a win yet? I don't think he has a win yet.
I think he does.
He does.
Where'd he win at?
I'm pretty sure he had a win.
Hold on, let me check.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All,
Somebody
all,
checked for
I'm
us.
with all sports all day. Bring it on. Everybody's trying to flip their
Speaking of all
pages.
sports all day, he says, well, yeah, if as Haas stayed together, they could have got him. But I thought she was saying just without the Byron push. Cruz didn't win again, is what Hunter Blaze is saying, but I thought he had a win already.
No, because remember I said at Bristol when Allgaier was a bully and took it away from him, that would have been his first.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where I got confused. He says, I think he will within a few races. Okay, so go ahead.
It's real
Reid.
soon. I think he's going to come away with one of these intermediates similar to Taylor Gray at Kansas, because that one kind of surprised me. And I think, William Sawalich at Rockingham. Rockingham's, I kind of consider it an intermediate. It's like the biggest short track I've ever seen because it races kind of like that. So I think JGR is pretty good at the intermediate. So I think it's got to be one of those. But I don't know if I want to use that word yet, but I think Brent Cruz is the closest one of the prospects to like Corey Day, who's generational. Like he's amazing, and he just got approved to race all these races this year. So yeah, it's incredible.
Amazing. Jay?
Sharon, I'll try and back you up here. Of Brent Cruz has had the winning car. He just hasn't gotten the checkered flag with these second place finishes. He certainly has been there. And yeah, Reid said it is coming. And I go back to Taylor Gray as he finally got his. He had several that were his. Something happened. He didn't get the checkered flag, but it was his race, So yeah, it's coming without a doubt. We've had that discussion before, Reid, on our preview shows, is where it shows the possible next first-time winners: Brent Cruz, William Sawalich, Carson Cavapel. And again, Cavapel is right there. Ended up started 6th, finished 10th, sorry, in that junior motorsports. But I think Brent Cruz is the one, again, another second place, absolutely the closest and probably the next.
Okay. Let's move on to Sam Mayer. He let one slip away. Oz Factory Team Sam Mayer appeared to be one of the strongest drivers in the closing laps. However, 2 late restarts did not go his way, and he slipped from contention for the win to 4th at the finish. The big question, did Mayer lose the race on those restarts, or was Allgaier simply unbeatable? Jay?
I do think it was kind of given away. I'm not saying Allgaier wouldn't have still won. And again, I only had the last 30 laps or so to look at, but I did get to see the entire red flag portion. So how thrilling was that? I think amongst the team, Haas Factory kind of cost themselves. Again, I'm not putting blame, but also back up from what I heard, Sam Mayer had already put himself in a deficit through some other issues. So I do think as a whole for the race that he gave it away, not just on that last restart, but what put him in that position for that last restart.
Yeah, weekly reminder. 3 years ago, Sam Mayer said he was the top cup material, all sports all day.
It's a reminder of how fiery he is. Yeah. That's why I was so surprised with how pretty graceful he took that loss, because that was brutal.
Maybe he's developing.
I think so.
But I think Allgaier has done this a ton of times. I always call him the Larson killer, because every time Larson comes down to race one of these races, he's the guy to beat between him and Larson. So he's so great at restarts, and I don't know. I really felt like Mayer got pretty unlucky there. On that final pit stop cycle, he got out to 2 seconds ahead of Allgaier, and then Brent Cruz spinning Patrick Emmerling around, and it kind of caused all that chaos there in the last laps. But yeah, I agree with you for sure. I think it was really just Haas Factory Team that kind of cost it in the win. But Allgaier's no slouch. I mean, he was there at the end, and he took it from him, and he led the most laps. So yeah, Allgaier didn't just get handed the win. It helped, but he was there till the end.
Allgaier is one of the best on restarts, and that's why he is so tough to beat. Okay.
What is the term, Sharon? Savvy veteran. Savvy veteran.
He's a
He was
savvy
there and he
veteran.
capitalized on what went on around him.
Yep.
Okay.
He made his own luck.
He did.
Yeah,
He did.
exactly. That's true. Like I said, he had a dominant car as well, so I can't say he wasn't going to win. But I think it was helped determined by the Haas factory team.
That's how
Okay,
these races go.
Let's move on to Taylor Gray's day ending early in frustration. Taylor Gray won stage 1. He led 24 laps, but his strong performance unraveled late, resulting in a disappointing 17th place finish. It was a missed opportunity for a driver fighting for chase security. Here's the big question here. How come it doesn't want to stay there? Okay. Was Gray the driver with the most speed that didn't get the finish he deserved?
We'll
Jay?
never know. Oh, you want to go, Jay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I told you, Reid, you'd fit right in. You get basically the words out of my mouth. We don't know. Did he have a good car? And as a whole, and I think we kind of both already talked about it, Reid, he is a driver that has to find that consistency and get out of that checkers or wreckers mode, especially when you're talking about being in a JGR car. They'll provide you the car. You got to do your part then and be consistent, not overdrive it, not get yourself in a bad position based on having a fast car. So, again, would he have been in contention? I definitely think so. But we don't know how it would have come out then either. Maybe he would have been the one to make that bold move, and it would have given the win to Sheldon Creed or Sam Mayer instead of Allgaier.
Okay, Reid.
Yeah, he got out to a pretty early lead, like I mentioned before. He just cleared by Brandon Jones pretty easily after Corey Day and Jesse Love wrecked. And then when he stayed out to win the stage, and he kind of started a bit further back in the field, and I was waiting for him to move up pretty quickly, but he kind of never did. So I don't know if it was a clean air thing. His car was just handled differently in the pack, but I don't know. He kind of made his way back to the top 5 at the end of the race, but just got super unlucky there in that with that last wreck, and he gets his 4th. Well, actually, he finished 17th, and that's 20 points right there, plus the stage win. So, he salvaged the day, but again, could have been so much better.
Okay. Next up is our rapid fire one. Jeremy Clements making history. A quieter but significant storyline did involve Jeremy Clements, who tied Kenny Wallace's all-time series record with his 547th start. He'll break the record outright at San Diego next week. Does Clements rank among the this is a rapid fire answer. Does Clements rank among the most underrated drivers in series history? Jay.
Absolutely. Again, with a family-owned team, not the top organization, just being consistent week in and week out and showing up, I say yes.
All Sports All Day says yes. What do you say, Reid?
Absolutely. Jeremy Clements, he's been in the series for a while, and, he's kind of a driver owner, and I've always respected that. It's not easy. And, he's got a couple wins. Ryan Sieg, he reminds me a lot of Ryan Sieg. I think Ryan Sieg, he's come real close a couple times, but, man, it's just been so disappointing. But Jeremy Clements, he's been able to do it, and I think he's definitely in that conversation.
Okay. Very good. I agree with all of you on that. Okay, here's the key takeaway. Put up my keys takeaway thing here. The Pocono race reinforced one thing above all else. Justin Allgaier is the clear championship favorite right now. Even in a race filled with cautions, strategy changes, and late restarts, he found a way to win. Meanwhile, Brent Cruz, Sam Mayer, Taylor Gray, and the Chase Bubble contenders gave us plenty of storylines to watch as the series heads now to the historic inaugural race at Naval Base Coronado at San Diego next weekend. It's going to be an exciting weekend next weekend. I think.
I'm so excited.
I am too. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Cup Series. Now, in this round, guys, we're going to go every other one gets to go first. Okay. So we're going to take turns going first in this round. The NASCAR Cup Series race at Pocono Raceway on Sunday, June 14th, delivered several major storylines that will shape the conversation heading into NASCAR's inaugural event at the Naval Base Coronado next week. Denny Hamlin is officially the hottest driver in NASCAR. Denny Hamlin continued his remarkable summer surge, winning the third consecutive Cup Series race after victories at Nashville and Michigan. First time for Denny Hamlin to do that, by the way. The Pocono triumph was his fourth win of the season and further strengthened his championship credentials. Hamlin started on the pole, won stage one, and closed the deal at one of his best tracks. And I've got a new one here in the Cup Series. We're going to talk about why it matters. 3 straight wins is rare in the next-gen era. Hamlin now has momentum that rivals anyone in the series, and the victory moves him significantly closer to the points leader, Tyler Reddick. He's gaining ground week after week. So who's going to go first?
Go ahead, Reid.
Why it matters. Well, you kind of said it yourself there. He's gained so much points these past few weeks, and why I think it matters is because right now we're kind of between Reddick and Hamlin. We're kind of in a spot where we might see how the chase might end. You know, can Hamlin make up 19 points in a couple races? It's kind of a practice round for later in the year. And we talked about he's on like a generational run right now. I didn't appreciate greatness in NASCAR when I was little. So whenever Kyle Busch would dominate a race and go back to back and do a Bristol sweep or whatever, I was pretty sick of it. But, you know, with everything that's happened, I think NASCAR fans have really started to learn to appreciate greatness and able to enjoy Hamlin's run in the moment.
Yeah, and for those that have been with us for the years, Hamlin is not my favorite driver, but he's got the talent. And what I take away of why it matters is the age at which he is doing it. We've talked about it, of how he has cost himself championships in the past. I think over the past 2 years, he has put all that aside, focused on winning, which is what he says in his interviews. That rather than putting the pressure on the championship, he puts the pressure on each race to do his best. Obviously, some off-track things have put things in perspective to him. Yeah, I mean, you got to respect what he is doing right now, like him or not, hate him or not. I mean, like I said, he's not my favorite driver, but doggone. I mean, you got to respect what he's doing.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and bring up the points report now and see what that says. What's All Sports saying? Damn, Yoders are cheating. Okay, let me share the screen for our points report here.
Are you doing race results or points?
Race report. Race results.
Okay.
Okay, Denny Hamlin, is it up?
Yep. Oh, nope. Sorry, I was looking at mine, not yours.
Okay, let me, oh yeah, it's up there.
Yep.
Okay. So now I got to go back. Okay, Denny Hamlin was your race winner. 67 points gained this week. He had a win margin of 1.678 seconds, and he only led 28 laps. He is your race winner this week once again. 3 in a row he's in rarefied ground right now. Tyler Reddick second. These two are neck and neck, and it's just gotten tighter. William Byron, finally, we got a top 5 finish for William Byron. We've been waiting for that all season long. John Hunter Nemechek came home in 4th place. Then it was Kyle Larson rounding out the top 5. So Tyler Reddick started the furthest back here. He started 16th and finished in 2nd. The next 5, Eric Jones with another top 10 finish this week. He finished in 6th place. Chris Buescher finished 7th. Ross Chastain. Chris Buescher, by the way, had the fastest lap for the race at 52.68. Ross Chastain finished in 8th, a decent finish for Ross. He's been struggling this year. So really good to see Ross Chastain up there in 8th. Ty Gibbs, a 9th place finish. Ross Chastain, by the way, started in 24th and finished in 8th place. So good run for him. Ty Gibbs started 4th, finished 9th. And Ryan Blaney rounds out the top 10. He started 10th and finished 10th. Chase Elliott just behind him, started 23rd, finished 11th. And Chase Briscoe in 12th. And he was I kind of thought Chase Briscoe might do 2 in a row, but it just wasn't his day. Some other drivers here, Riley Herbst, Carson Hocevar, kind of surprised that he finished as far down as he did. Christopher Bell, God, you got to give that kid kudos. Racing with a broken arm in a cast. They developed a special seat for him so that he could run this race. So all in all, I give him kudos for finishing the race. It looks like, again, RFK didn't have their best day again. No. Joey Logano down in 34th. Zane Smith, my heart broke for Zane Smith when he got knocked out of the race. So doesn't reflect how well he was running at the beginning of this race.
Second straight week, too.
Yeah, second straight week as well. So any additional thoughts here, Jay?
You look at, obviously the top storyline is Denny Hamlin, what he's doing. We kind of covered that. Tyler Reddick back to form, but again, he's lost what he had. What he did early in the season, Denny Hamlin is doing now. Reddick finishes second and lost points, big points. 32 points? He had no stage points. Denny Hamlin had picked up 10 to chip away at his point lead already just through the 2 stages. And that's where Tyler Reddick was early in the season, kind of fell off again, not off the planet, like Brad Keselowski and Ford, unfortunately, but, 5th to 10th, he had that big 100 and some point cushion. You could do that. Hamlin's winning races, 15 extra bonus points, getting stage points, starting up front. Yeah, you can't just coast. Even finishing second, you're losing points. You need to pick it back up.
Reid?
I love this format so much. I like the difference in points just between first and second from winning. I think they did a good job, taking away winning you're in and kind of mitigating that with a big points gain. But some drivers at the bottom there, like Logano, he was right there on the cut line, and he just had a couple solid races, and all that momentum is completely gone. So unfortunate for that team. But there were a lot of points implications this race. It was very interesting to see.
Okay, Hunter says, I knew it'd be Hamlin on the pole. Winning this race made a lot with him and both the legacy boys. Good job, Hunter. All Sports All Day says, people who complain about Hamlin dominating, totally disregarding JHN leading the most lap, and that's a good point. Mopar's in here. JHN led 42 laps, most of any race for him. Legacy has speed. Legacy has been coming on in the latter half of the second half of the season. Hunter Blazer says, when they wrecked near the restart zone, I had a feeling prior that it was about to happen, going 3 wide into turn 3, and 21 car bumped the wall and caused a pretty big wreck right in front of me. That's right, Hunter.
Oh, nice. Oh, that was right in front of you. Nice.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Wow.
Okay, before we go to the points, I want to talk about Tyler Reddick, though. He continues championship level consistency. Tyler Reddick finished runner-up and continues to be the benchmark of consistency in this season. Even though Hamlin stole the headlines, Reddick once again maximized his day and remains on top of the championship standings after 16 races. There's something to be said for that. Why it matters? Reddick continues to pile up points. He remains the driver everyone must chase in regular season standings. and Hamlin-Reddick battle could become NASCAR's defining championship rivalry this summer. So, Reid, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mentioned earlier that it was going to be like a preview for the chase, who comes down to win this regular season championship, and it has some serious points to it right when the chase starts. So those guys are going to be fighting super hard, and it also just goes to show the amount of pure speed that the Toyotas have with Denny Hamlin in 2311. So, and Legacy Motor Club too, coming up in the points. So. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch.
Jay?
Yeah, the question of why it matters, because this does tighten up what we thought was an insurmountable points gap, is now a competition. Through the middle of the pack, you got that positioning for where they're going to start the chase. But then we go back down to the bubble. There are some that are in, out, may get in, may be out. 2 champions that are out right now. As it stands. So, yeah, there were a lot of huge points implication. For me, seeing Reddick bounce back, overcome last week with the DNF, his first finish of it was outside the top 15 of the year. So, again, even when he had a bad day, it was still top 15. That's why he was maintaining. But with Hamlin on fire like he is right now, you got to be right there with him in second place and absolutely minimizing again, those stage points. He got none to Hamlin's 10. 2 races of that, and Hamlin's going to be right there neck and neck with you.
Absolutely. And I'm going to bring up the points right now, the standings. So, Jay, you want to cover that? And go to the bubble, too, because that's going to be our next topic.
Yeah, again, it is a tight one at the top now. You can see Tyler Reddick still has 19 points. You look at there, though.
I hit the wrong series here. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Look at the categories now as it gets closer. 5 wins to 4 for Hamlin. Pretty competitive. Stage wins 1 to 5, and that's where it's coming into play, is those other points picked up during the race. And then Hamlin, again, the 15 points for the bonus wins. Reddick got his early in the year. Hamlin's getting his now. Then I'm just going to run through them until we get to the bubble, because these guys, they are positioning. Sharon will hit it, minimal jumping, but Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, again, showing the consistency week in and week out. Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez moved up 1 more. Carson Hocevar lost some of his momentum down to Christopher Bell. We know his story. He's got to maintain until he gets fully healthy. Then 11th, that was top 10. 11th, William Byron. 12th, Chase Briscoe, in pretty good, solid position, but we've seen a points gap can go away. 13th, Bubba Wallace, 394. Still pretty solid. He's got 33 points over Shane Van Gisbergen at 361, and that's where I'm going to kind of put the focus. He's in 14th. 6 back is Eric Jones in. Eric Jones is in after 2 good weeks at 355. He's tied with Austin Cindric, who is also in. They are tied at 15th and 16th, 355. Brad Keselowski, though, rough day again. I think he got dead last. I might be wrong. 4 back. Okay. Joey Logano, 2 or 3 time champion, 17 back. Ryan Preece had been in. RFK had been strong. Is 322. That's 30-some points, a half a race. Michael McDowell, 308, and then AJ Allmendinger. Those are 2 teams we've seen some momentum for, but they got to be even more consistent. Spire Motorsports, we've seen as a whole organization on the rise. But then you got the drivers, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Ross Chastain. Drivers have been in contention, won races in the past. They're on a verge of, again, we're not the winning you're in. The bonus points would help, but they need to have a couple of good back-to-back weeks like we saw from Eric Jones.
Okay, some of your biggest movers here. Up 6. Where was it? I lost him. Eric
John
Jones.
Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eric
amazing day
Jones.
for Eric Jones.
Eric Jones moved up 6. Christopher Bell moved back 3. You see 1 up for Chris Buescher. He's kind of the lead guy right now at RFK. Daniel Suarez up 2. Chase Briscoe up 2. Bubba Wallace up 2. Shane Van Gisbergen down 2. Brad Keselowski down 4. Ryan Preece down 2. Michael McDowell down 1. AJ Allmendinger, Ricky Stenhouse both up 1. Ross Chastain moved up 3. Zane Smith, that wreck just hurt him really bad. He went down 4. Whoops, what happened here? He went down 4. John Hunter Nemechek up 2. Austin Dillon down 4. Josh Berry +1. Ty Dillon +1. And that's all your movers this week. But kudos to Eric Jones for +6. That's one of the biggest moves I've seen yet in the series.
Yeah, if Eric Jones, so I wrote down some notes here. If Eric Jones maintains his speed that he has right now throughout the rest of the summer, he's gonna make the chase. And it reminds me, in 2022, he had a very good summer stretch where, like if just including the summer races, he would have been like 6th in points or something like that. And then he capped it off with that second Southern 500 win. So I'm really high on Eric Jones right now, and maybe even John Hunter Nemechek if he can have more races like the one he had at Pocono.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the ones of as an organization. I know Taz likes to rank organizations on Wednesday night. I think right now we're seeing that with Legacy Motorsport. And I mentioned Brad had talked about the Toyotas, and they are working as a manufacturer and sharing. Legacy is now, from what I understood, of increased their alliance, but also then through a key executive member that has moved over, I think understanding the information and being able to apply it better than they have in the past. So, yeah, we're seeing that momentum shift when it comes to Legacy as possibly the 3rd up to 2nd. I know they got a step to go. You still got JGR in 2311, but they are definitely coming along with how they apply the information they're getting.
Yep. Okay, let's go back to the bubble drivers again. The biggest turning point of the race came during stage 2 when a crash triggered contact involving Shane Van Gisbergen and Josh Berry, collecting several drivers fighting around the playoff cut line. Among those caught up, Brad Keselowski ended up dead last, as you mentioned. Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, and Shane Van Gisbergen. Why it matters? Several chase hopefuls lost valuable points, and we saw it in the movement. Keselowski's uphill battle became even steeper, and the playoff cut line fight tightened considerably with only a handful of regular season races remaining. So this is kind of gearing up to be a real race to the chase.
Yep.
10 races left, right?
Yeah.
Jay, I think it's your turn, Jay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Without a doubt. And this is what we want to see. Again, are they championship contenders, even with the momentum? Just taking Eric Jones, moving up, can have a good summer stretch, get into the chase. If he's in the 12th, 11th, or that area, does he have a shot? Obviously, it would also take Reddick and Hamlin cooling off. That's the thing. If you're parallel with them, you're starting at that deficit. So you might race your way up to 6th or 5th, but you got to probably start within the top 6, 60 points out. That's a lot to make up when these guys are running top 5 week in and week out.
Okay, Reid.
Yeah, just rough stretch for Brad Keselowski. This marks his 3rd straight DNF, and a lot of people were kind of marking him for just an easy chase spot. He was well into the cut line, but now he's fallen back out of the picture. I think Logano was also involved in that wreck. That took him out of contention. He finished the race like 4 laps down. Bubba Wallace, who's also had a couple of rough weeks, he managed to save pretty impressive save on that wreck, but not the greatest finish, but he does some damage control there. And I think that, while the race wasn't the best, there's going to be at least a little bit of positive momentum for that team heading forward next week at San Diego.
Okay. Let's move on to John Hunter Nemechek here. John Hunter Nemechek quietly had one of the best performances of the afternoon. He led a race high 42 laps, finished in 4th place, tying his career best Cup Series result and scoring his first top 5 finish of the season. Again, why it matters. Legacy Motor Club continues to show improvement. Nemechek demonstrated race-winning speed, and it could be a confidence-building run as the chase gets closer. And Hunter says Noah Gragson was caught up in that wreck as well. Fall off of Noah Gragson needs to be studied. And I never thought Noah was any good, Hunter says.
Wow.
Yeah, some interesting comments there.
Okay. I'll come back to that.
Okay. I think it's your turn, Reid.
Yeah. So going back to the confidence booster, I think this race is this momentum builder is actually at the perfect time because we're heading to San Diego Street Course, and John Hunter Nemechek is kind of a sneaky good road course racer. I remember he's been pretty solid at the Chicago street races. He was good at Mexico City last year. I think that with the direction that Legacy Motor Club is in, John Hunter Nemechek could be a serious dark horse threat to really contend. I feel like a win is pretty unlikely, but I imagine that he will be in a great position to get some stage points, maybe a top 10 or top 5.
Jay?
The momentum at the right time, as much as I like it and hope for the best for him, for John Hunter Nemechek at 277, you're looking at 80 points difference to Austin Cindric. That would take that win and multiple consecutive very good weeks and somebody else having their hiccups. But Eric Jones has worked his way in. So I think it's at the right time, and I like to see it. I like to see these other organizations start to become more competitive and make it more interesting. As I said, with the goal of the next-gen car was to level the playing field. It started out real good. The top teams gapped it a little. I think we're starting to see it close back up a little bit. Spire Motorsports getting a couple of wins. They're the ones that made the biggest jump, but Legacy is on that verge right now, I think. There are a couple of tracks you mentioned that, whether it be Eric Jones or John Hunter Nemechek, that I think we could see them get a win. I really do. Is it likely? We got to see this more consistent. We've seen it good for 2 weeks, but it's got to stay consistent.
Okay. These guys are going back and forth about Noah Gragson. Fall off of Noah Gragson needs to be studied. I never thought Noah was any good. Ford, I don't know what that was. All Sports All Day, I don't know. 21 O'Reilly Noah was insane. And then Hunter says, yes, in O'Reilly, if we're talking Cup, he's never done much. There's a couple of tracks he's decent at. So, a lot of Noah Gragson conversation going off on the sidelines here.
I'll jump in there, Sharon. The Ford answer there is, and this is something I hadn't thought about, I heard on the morning drive this morning. Ford is basically in a lame duck season because they're getting a new car next year. So they're behind, but it doesn't do any good to invest in it right now because they're getting a new car next year. And I hadn't really put that together.
Topics.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, it's on our hot topics for later, Jay. Okay. Let's move on to William Byron. William Byron and Hendrick Motorsports regained some momentum. Byron finished 3rd while teammate Kyle Larson came home 5th after leading early. Why does it matter? Hendrick Motorsports may not have beaten Hamlin, but they showed race-winning speed. Byron remains firmly in the championship picture, and Larson continues searching for a breakthrough victory to match his pace. He's on what, a 40-race winless streak now. So let's go ahead and move on with that. Jay, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, I think that is one of those. Again, have they been horrible? William Byron a little bit rougher than Kyle Larson. But again, are they getting victories, which is what we expect from HMS, as still considered one of the top organizations? And those two have not been there. So to see that, is it a big momentum gain? For William Byron, I think it was huge. For Kyle Larson, he's still consistent. Just when are we going to start seeing him winning every third or fourth, fifth race like we've seen in the past? So yeah, I do think it was a momentum shift. And again, were they out to lunch and gone? No, but they're not up there contending for wins. Toyota has taken that all by themselves. So
okay, Reid.
Yeah, I definitely agree that momentum right now, it's been rough for the 24 this season, but he led laps last week at Michigan. He just kind of fell out of contention because he was on a different tire strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But he was right there at the end, and I think Hendrick Motorsports hasn't been the best this year, but they're kind of on an upward trajectory because again at Michigan, Chase Elliott was there in contention there. He may have had one of the best cars, but that pretty hard wreck with Christopher Bell there at the end. And Larson, while Larson hasn't won in a year, he's got tons of top fives. He has ton of long run speed at the end of these races. I don't know what's necessarily going on right there because it's Kyle Larson and I heard a lot of people say he might get a win at Pocono. I didn't think it would happen, but qualified second, was right there all day. Just one of these races this season.
Okay. Hunter Blazer says Byron needs a new Flint for his striker. He needs a spark. So many drivers have more laps led than him this year. But I think that spark might have happened at Pocono, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. It definitely, again, we talk about other drivers going to the O'Reilly or other series and getting wins or whatever. Just that little reassurance of, hey, you may not be winning races, but you still got the talent. We're missing something a little bit. Chevrolet with the new nose, we're working on it. So I think it is a good reassuring weekend, and we'll see them both back to winning ways.
Reid, anything more there?
I like this comment here by Hunter Blazer or Blazer. I don't know how you say it. We'll figure it out as we go through this year. Yeah, Hunter. Zane Smith and John Ernest Nemechek now have more laps led than Byron this year. Funny stuff. Yeah, I think that's definitely cause for concern if you're William Byron. I think this weekend will definitely help his confidence. He's usually pretty solid at the road courses. I'm comparing the San Diego street course to Chicago from last year, and his race never really got started there. But I think this is going to be an important week for Byron and the rest of Hendrick Motorsports to see if they can keep that momentum and sustain some, race contending speed. If not, they could be going through another rough stretch, especially that 48 team. They've been even with Allgaier, when Bowman has been gone, Allgaier hasn't been in contention either when he in his few starts.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay. I just am reminding everybody I've got a big announcement at the end of the show tonight, so you want to stay tuned for that. And we've also got the in-season tournament to talk about. Let's move on to the Naval Base Coronado, which is next. This would be our rapid fire piece here. The Cup Series now heads to the highly anticipated inaugural race weekend at Naval Base Coronado in San Diego. With Hamlin carrying a 3-race winning streak and Reddick still leading the standings, the timing couldn't be better for NASCAR's newest marquee event. What are you expecting at Naval Base Coronado? Jay?
Okay.
It's your turn, Reid. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I will say this. I think this is where Hamlin's win streak comes to an end. He's never been good at any of these road courses here in the next gen era. But I think this might be a great weekend for Reddick to rebuild his gap a little bit, because he's been great at the Chicago Street course. He beat SVG on older tires at Circuit of the Americas this year. He's one of the behind Shane Van Gisbergen. I think he's got to be one of the best road racers in the series. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Hamlin might mitigate that, and how some of the other manufacturers may come in and contend for the win.
Okay, before we go to Jay, All Sports All Day said he raced the track on iRacing in the Cup Series. It's genuinely cooked. And then he says on the straight after turn 4, I think it is, the car genuinely bounces because of the different pavement. Oh, interesting.
It's going to be it's going to be
Turn
fun
4.
to watch.
Okay, Jay?
Well, the unknown of this is a street course. Yes, we've done the Chicago Street course. So to me, it's a big unknown. We've seen some drivers, and Hunter just mentioned it, SVG, kind of put him in that bucket of it is a road course. He shows what he can do on new tracks like that. Denny Hamlin not being the best road course racer. However, veteran experience. Then talking about the shift in pavement, that's where your veteran experience comes into play. But you mentioned Tyler Reddick. I think this is where he can kind of regain his momentum and control of the points. But then you also have, you mentioned John Hunter Nemechek, Alex Bowman, typically a good road course racer. You look at the Chicago Street course, kind of gets overlooked. I think it is a wide open, unpredictable weekend, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Well, Hunter says, I think SVG will win because no driver has any experience here. And I think SVG can figure it out much quicker than the rest of them.
That's, the adapt word right there.
There you go. Okay, ready for our key takeaway here in the Cup Series, and then we'll move on to our additional hot topics. Denny Hamlin's championship charge is no longer just a hot streak. It's becoming a defining story of the 26th season. Pocono showed that Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing have found another gear, while several chase contenders suffered major setbacks in a crash that could have postseason implications. The sport now heads to the Naval Base Coronado with a red-hot title battle between Hamlin and Tyler Reddick at center stage. Any thoughts here that you want to?
I do think, especially being that it is Coronado, and then we got Sonoma coming up. The road course races kind of puts a shift or the focus on a couple other drivers. So then it is a matter of who at least runs top 5, top 10s, and maintains momentum or points position and salvages what they can coming out of it. But that's assuming it's SVG and your other top road racers that get the win in top spots. I think it's wide open. I really do.
Hunter says, I'm thinking Ty Gibbs runs up front. And I know you said you thought that was another solid pick. Reid?
I think Ty Gibbs could definitely be in contention. He definitely, back when he was in the former Xfinity series, he was very great at the road courses. I think these next few races are going to be very key for Shane Van Gisbergen. He had a lot of pressure on his back at Watkins Glen, because if he didn't win that race, he might not be in the chase conversation right now. But I think this is going to be a great stretch for SVG. And I want to go back to Hamlin, because my takeaway from him is that saying, you can't teach a old dog new tricks. It doesn't apply to Hamlin, because he still continues to adapt at like the right page at 45 now.
Yep. Yeah, because he'll turn 46 at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He said he struggled on restarts in the off season, and some of his last few races have come down to restarts. So those are my takeaways.
Okay. What about you guys in the chat? What are your key takeaways? Okay, I'm going to bring up our additional topics here. I hope I've got the right one. Let's try this. Okay. Nope, I don't think that's the one. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. I thought I had it pulled up. I did have it pulled up. Okay. Let me switch over to here. The additional hot topics that we'll be covering here. Josh Berry leaving the Wood Brothers Racing at the end of 26. Who's his replacement and where does he go? Justin Marks, Jimmy Johnson, Brendan Gaughan, Jamie McMurray, Kaz Gralla, and Parker Kligerman all racing in the Truck Series next week at Coronado. And the new Ford Mustang for the 27th season. So let's start with Josh Berry and talk about that one because that's kind of a big deal, I think, getting the first domino to fall. Hunter says he thinks Ty Gibbs will be running up front. And okay, we already covered that. So your thoughts here?
I think, the Josh Berry not being renewed, I don't want to say is a surprise. I hate it for him. I think he is a good driver. Did he ever master it at the cup level? No. The Wood Brothers seems to be on a rotation of every 2 to 3 years, though, they're changing it up. And even when they've had a couple drivers that build consistency, then when you shift, and I go back, Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Blaney, and I understand that was the plan all along, moving over to Penske. Same with Austin Cindric. He actually went directly into the number 2. So we talked earlier, Jamie had brought up the Jesse Love, maybe even going into the 2, and Cindric moving over to the 21. Yes. I had heard the Love, and I started hearing that rumor latter part of last week into this week. But Jesse Love had also been tied to Legacy. My key takeaway from that is he is a Chevrolet RCR driver, has been since the ARCA. I think Chevy's making a mistake in letting one get away, whether it be the Toyota or Ford. So the fact that he is in both of these conversations, I'd kind of like to see him in that third Legacy car, honestly. Josh Berry, I hate to say it, especially with his age, he came into the Cup Series at a later age based off his performance in junior motorsports. His window might be done. I hate to say it, but where is he going to go? Where is he available to go? That's the question.
Reid?
Yeah, so the main rumor right now is that Jesse Love is somehow going to be involved with either the 21 or the 2 car. Honestly, I really don't want to see him in the 21. I don't think that car, outside of that Las Vegas win with Josh Berry and a couple notable runs like at New Hampshire last year, Josh Berry almost won that race over Ryan Blaney. But in these past 4 years, those 3 years with Burton and then Berry and then this year, that 21 car has seemed to taken a step back since the next gen car got implemented, unlike a lot of these other teams. And Jesse Love is such a promising prospect, and I don't know if that would be the best use of his career or the best move for his career. I think Chevrolet is going to try their best to keep Jesse Love because they poached Jesse Love from Toyota, and I think they kind of see how that might affect their career or their system in the future. But I don't know. Front Row Motorsports, I know they might be making a look to move that 4 car around. So Noah Gragson, he's underperformed for Front Row these past couple of years. I think Noah Gragson could be a sleeper candidate for that 21, but I guess we'll find out. I feel like this news with Berry actually came pretty early in the season. I wasn't expecting it this early, but I still got some hope for his career. He had some good runs last year, and back when Stuart Haas in their lame duck season, I still have some hope for him.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah, you're right. And I forgot that he actually did start with JGR in the ARCA. I thought it was a RC all the way, but you're right. He did come from Toyota there. So I just think of an up and coming talent as well as a team on the rise. That's where I think he would match well with Legacy in that. As far as Chevrolet trying to keep him there again, where does Chevrolet have an open spot to put him? If it's not RCR, which they've seemed to indicate, they're going with Austin Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Hunter said Barry will ride next year, in my opinion, in O'Reilly in junior motorsports. He says the only issue is sponsorship dollars, and Dale Jr. would have to put out money to run him in that JGR car. So just another possibility there. I had thought at one time maybe they'd bring a veteran driver into Wood Brothers. I know Cindric drove for them at one point to help them develop because they are behind, and then maybe put somebody else in that number 2 car at Team Penske. So you never know. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that it could be. But I did have some other topics. I almost forgot to bring those up. I want to make sure I mention them so that you know that we are going to be talking the in-season challenge and Taz's in-season tournament, and the whole Ty Majeski thing gets the win at Berlin. Hocevar was penalized for aggressive driving, and he parks the car and leaves. So we'll get into all of those, hopefully. So I can take that down for now. But Hunter? Anything? Are we ready for the next topic, or did we?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I can't see Barry getting any right, honestly. Is going to Cars Tour even that bad of an idea? And that's a possibility. That's all sports all day. Okay, so the next topic on that list is Justin Marks, Jimmy Johnson, Brendan Gaughan, Jamie McMurray, Kaz Grala, Parker Gilligerman are all racing in the next NASCAR Truck Series next week. And I got to tell you, we've got some articles coming out tomorrow from our very own Reid Scarcey.
Yay. Scarce.
Scarcey.
Scarce.
Scarcey. I'll get it. I will get it.
You're 1 for 2 now.
1 for 2 now.
I'm keeping track.
Okay, I missed it. Okay, so Scarcey. So he's got a couple of articles. You got Kaz Grala. You got an article coming out.
Yeah, I got Kaz Grala and Brendan Gaughan.
So watch for those. And he's doing articles on all of the drivers that are going to be racing in that truck series. So watch for those coming out throughout the week. We'll be trying to get those up and out so that you guys can read up on these drivers and some of their comments about racing out there. So, but let's talk about them racing in the truck series. Going to bring some new eyes to the sport. Jay?
Well, I kind of shared this on the preview show, and I think part of the bits and pieces. I like it. It's one of those special events. We know that Jamie McMurray and the Dodge Ram or Ram truck in that free agent truck, Jimmy Johnson, Brendan Gaughan, and Justin Marks were kind of 2 surprises to me.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it. Brendan Gaughan, I can't think of the team that he said he called and he said, "Hey, you are providing me a truck." He's like, "I want to do it. You're going to give me a truck." So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's great that just as a whole, even drivers that maybe only do 1 race a year are behind this one race and the unique event it is.
Yeah. So the truck series is usually a race or is series for a bunch of young drivers with some veterans kind of sprinkled in there. But in the field this week, we've got Jimmy Johnson, Brendan Gaughan, Justin Marks, who are all in their 50s. I'm not sure what Jamie McMurray's age, but I know he's a little bit up there. I'm really excited to see Brendan Gaughan and Justin Marks specifically because it's been a while since they've been behind the wheel of a car or a truck or whatever it is. This is Brendan Gaughan's first truck series race in nearly 13 years, so that's going to be interesting to see how he drives. And he's kind of it's in my going to be in my article pretty soon, but he actually has a road course win in the old Nationwide series at Road America. So I'm expecting maybe a pretty good run for him. McAnally, Hilgeman, they just got their first top 15 in that 20 truck, so it's going to be pretty fun to see. I'm excited.
Okay, yeah, that is going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing those guys out on the racetrack. And like you said, a lot of veterans haven't been in those cars for a while.
Yeah.
So they are going to bring ice to the sport, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do on this track that nobody's ever raced on before. So I think it's going to be exciting. All Sports All Day was said, I was in a driving lesson last year, got talking with the guy, and he said he was the driver's ed instructor for Kaz Gralla back in the day. I was asking him if he remembered his name because we know some drivers that have been coaches. And
who's the guy that was with Skip Barber Motorsports in Birmingham? I think is the guy that he was working with, if I recall correctly. I can't think of the name though.
Okay. And then Corey Heim, Hunter's telling us that Corey Heim will be in an open car for the Cup Series. I don't know about trucks though. Yeah, we haven't seen the entry list yet. So for
the Cup, it's Corey Heim, Jimmy Johnson, and Kevin Magnussen as the three open teams. Magnussen,
yeah.
Okay.
And then Casey Mears in that 62 car. He's trying to get to 500 starts, and he'll only have 3 more after this weekend at San Diego.
Well, he's not on the one they have on J-Ski yet, but I didn't know if that was one of his or not.
Who was the last one?
Casey Mears.
Oh, Casey Mears. Yeah, he is because he's going for those 500 starts.
Mm-hmm.
All Sports, I'll say I'm talking like driver's ed for getting your license. And then he says, because Kaz is only from like an hour away from me. Yeah, Kaz used to be on our show quite a bit. So I'm hoping maybe we can get another interview with him.
Kaz does a ton of simulation racing. I'm pretty sure he was the reserve driver for Legacy Motor Club last year. Yeah. I don't know what he's been up to this year, but he's making his first start for 2026. So rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him too.
Yeah, I knew he was one of them that was doing driver coaching. I didn't know which organization it was for.
Well, he's doing the sim feedback.
Yeah, Reid said for Legacy.
Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And Jay, you mentioned this earlier. I heard it the same place you heard it. There's going to be a new Ford Mustang for the 2027 season. I'm kind of excited about that. And you were making some comments about that earlier. You want to go ahead and...
Well, that's one of those when they broke it down, we've talked about Joey Logano specifically, but Ford just as a whole being lacking this year. They really aren't going to be able to make it up because there's no point in investing in this car if they're getting a new one next year. And I knew that they had a new car coming, but didn't piece it together that means this year is pretty much you got what you got, make the best of it, and we'll take our lumps now. I think is how Pete Pistone said it. Take your lumps now and then wait till next year when you get the new car. And I was like, man, that's got to be brutal. You're telling Brad, this is what you got, do what you can with it because we're not giving you anything better until next year.
Yeah, yeah. Hunter says, I know San Diego is a 3.5 mile track, but how many turns? Gee, I'm not sure.
I got the track layout pulled up here.
Hunter. I wonder if All Sports All Day.
I want to say 17, but I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that's right.
All Sports All Day is our statistician that looks these things up and gets the answers for us during the show. But that's pretty cool. I think it's going to be really fun to watch those guys race. Reid, what do you want to say about the new Ford car?
So I think it's going to be a big year for Team Penske because they've seriously been kind of lacking these past couple of years, especially on the intermediates. If they can't take a step forward next year, I think long term they could be in some trouble because they have no developmental system in the O'Reilly or Truck Series. So they're just not going to have any. They're not going to be on any upward trajectory whatsoever. Oh, look, 16. I was one turn off.
16 is. I was trying. Yeah,
says 16. 16.
I was trying to look at that picture.
Thank you, All Sports All Day. We really appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a good point. We've been talking about the lack of development in the Ford program. They used to have a pretty good pipeline going, but that pipeline seems like it's drying up a little bit, and they need to really work on their development program as well. But I'm excited for the new car that's coming out.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see how they do with that. Now, this year it was Chevy. Chevy's got a new nose on their car, and I think that's why it's taken these guys until the second half of the season to kind of get going. But and the same thing might happen with Ford next year.
Yeah, I don't imagine them coming out the gate as strong, but again, generally when they bring a new car, it is an improvement. Like I said, I felt so bad of thinking about Ford struggling this year, like not getting really any encouragement of it getting better, because again, there's no point in investing in it.
Exactly. Okay, I was going to bring up another thing here. You know, NASCAR has their in-season challenge for this year, and it's going to be pretty exciting. It's a little bit different than the one they had last year, so that's one thing for people to look out for. But you can go to NASCAR and kind of get the details for that race. For that in-season challenge. I'm trying to bring it up here now. Just 2 seconds here. NASCAR's in-season challenge. And Sharon. Yeah, it's at the NASCAR site. They've got it already set up. Theirs is starting now. Ours is starting, I think, a week later. So if you can do this one, but we have one of our own here at Fan for Racing Radio, and I'm really going to encourage fans to do both. Do the NASCAR in-season challenge with NASCAR, but if you go to fanforracing.com, I put it up today, we've got our very own. Taz is introducing Taz's in-season tournament. And I'm going to share this tab instead to kind of go over Taz's in-season tournament. So this is in conjunction with Race Chat Live and the 110 Nation, as well as Fan for Racing. He's got Fan for Racing on air. So the way this is going to work, he says NASCAR started its first ever in-season challenge last year. It's coming back this year with a small twist. NASCAR is not having 3 seed races to determine which drivers will earn what seed for the knockout stages. So I, Taz Taylor, say for 2026, bring back the seeding races. So again, in conjunction with Fan for Racing, 110 Nation, and Race Chat Live, we want to challenge you, the fans. Here's how the tournament is going to work. Michigan, Pocono, and San Diego are the seeding races. Drivers will race to earn the best position possible to get themselves the best seed in the knockout rounds. Now, the drivers don't know that we're doing this, so they don't know anything about this. So just to let you know. Now, the top 32 drivers, though, with the best average finish of the 3 seeding races will qualify for the knockout rounds. After the San Diego race, that's next week, the knockout bracket will be released for you, the fans, to fill out. We're releasing that bracket on next Monday, June the 22nd. So watch for it over at Fan for Racing. And then all you have to do is pick which driver will do better than the other in the matchup, similar to the March Madness basketball. Whether it's one of us at Fan for Racing, the 110 Nation, or Race Chat Live, or if it's one of you, the fans, that score the most points in the tournament, you will be the bragging rights champion for this season. Now, the points break down like this. A round of 32 correct picks get 10 points. If you get to the Super 16, correct picks get 20 points. The Elite 8 correct picks get 40 points. The Fast 4 correct picks move up to 80 points. And the championship final correct pick will get 160 points. The tiebreaker will be based on what position will the in-season tournament champion finish. And then you can play both. And I've got the link to the NASCAR website so that folks can learn more about the in-season challenge by NASCAR and our Taz's in-season tournament. So it's kind of exciting. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, Jay. Or is it Jay's turn or is it Reid's turn?
No, it's Reid. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm hearing about this. This looks really exciting because I'm a very competitive person. So I'm gonna try my best to, put all of my brain power in all those picks and hope I can get lucky.
So did you hear about it and do it last year?
Nope.
There's the problem, Sharon. You need to switch the graphic back to that fired up because, again, they had it last year and they just don't do the advertising for it. And this year, again, I didn't even know they were doing it this year up until Taz said he was going to parallel with it. And I'm like, I've been waiting to hear something about it. I don't understand how this has not been promoted and utilized. But I am excited about doing both of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. The marketing has been lacking, to say the least. Hunter said when Penske's off, so is the rest of the Fords, but they're even worse. NASCAR had a free bracket last year to fill out like March Madness does for NCAA. So
I knew about the in-season tournament last year, but I haven't done this for Fanfare Racing, so I'm really excited for that.
Okay, so this is how it's going to break down. That first bracket is going to be the first bracket picks are going to be for Sonoma. The second round, it's going to be Chicagoland Speedway. Third round, Echo Park at Atlanta. The fourth round is North Wilkesboro, and then the final championship round is going to be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So that's how and this is what the bracket's going to look like. Now I know he has been doing, I'm going to bring this down so I can bring up some of the seating that he's been doing. In the first one was at Michigan, and he's been keeping track of the seating race by race. So this is what the first round looked like for the seating. This is how they were lined up, and this is where they ended up after Michigan. And he's got another one here that is going to, I'm going to switch it over here now and show you the other one that is after the race that took place this weekend at Pocono, because there was some movement after the Pocono race as far as the seating, and then he'll have the chart for after San Diego Coronado. So you see some shifts here. For example, Eric Jones, who was second after Michigan, moved way down here. He's this gray box over here. What is that, like 16th or 17th? So there is some movement there with some of these. And where you see the blue, I guess, well, there was some movement in some of the blues. I'm not sure what the color coding is, but he is keeping track of the seating. That's where it is right now after Pocono. But I'm sure it's going to change again after San Diego. So just know that Taz is keeping track of that seating already. We'll have the bracket up at fanfareracing.com, which is where I've got all of the rules already posted. It's on the sidebar is where you're going to find it. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. All Sports All Day says going to Lime Rock, then 3 days later making the drive down to North Wilkesboro for the first time since 23. Can't wait. Lime Rock is freaking awesome. I remember you telling us that last year too. I know Jay saying he's so jealous. And then he says, then to the best track where the best racing is, and we've never had a bad race even when it snows or rains. the 21 Busch fan at 12 years old in turn 11 almost left the track. And that's New Hampshire Motor Speedway on August 23rd.
Wow, very detailed right there.
Yeah, it was.
I love New Hampshire. I think it's a very underrated track. It's very underappreciated, but it's very challenging.
I hate when they lost the second date, and I know we got some new tracks, and I like that, but yeah, I hated seeing New Hampshire lose one of their dates.
Yeah, that was Andy's track too. He really loved going to New Hampshire. So that's our in-season tournament. Any more comments? Do you have any comments you want to say, Jay?
No, like I said, and a big shout out to Taz. I know he says it's not about him, but he's the one doing it for the group, multiple groups here across several platforms. The seeding rounds, were they necessary? No, and NASCAR opted to not do that this year. Taz apparently really did like that aspect. I think there was something to it because if you strictly went by total points for the season, just using last year's, Brad Keselowski was at the bottom. During that 3-race stretch, he actually had momentum, so did in the seeding rank up further. There's a reason for it. So, but I give a shout out to Taz. I know what it takes to do all that, just like Sharon does with the Fan for Racing here and all the graphics. Appreciate the effort from both y'all.
Yeah, well, I think Taz did all the graphics and everything on this one. All Sports All Day says, never forgiving Las Vegas for what they did to us. As a kid in 2018, I literally wouldn't watch Las Vegas. I was so mad. And then definitely Vegas's fault and not having us having horrible racing in mid-attendance.
How do you think I felt as a Texas Motor Speedway goer?
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah.
Yes. I think Texas Motor Speedway took a lot of grief for a few years, but I always liked the racing at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I always did too. Those first couple of years after the reconfiguration, though, were pretty rough, but it's kind of a unique wild card now. It's got its own identity, so I'm able to appreciate that.
Well, okay. Reid, you missed it. Sharon, we had a guy that fired up Joey Logano or Texas Motor Speedway, and he would go off.
Yeah.
But he was a Dodge fan, so we loved him anyway. I did.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I live 10 minutes away from the track, so I spend a lot of time.
Oh, I go by there all the time, Reid.
Yeah.
Okay, All Sports All Day. Texas hate is forced like square block into a small hole nowadays. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go. Okay, our last topic, and we kind of touched on this in bits and pieces. In super late model race, Ty Majeski won finally at Berwyn Raceway. He's raced there for years and could not get the win. He finally got the win. But the big story of the night was Carson Hocevar, that Reid brought up earlier. Carson Hocevar was penalized for unnecessary roughness on the track. We showed it on the bits and pieces, the video of it. And he was penalized by having to restart at the back of the pack. And instead, he went to the garage, parked his car, and left the track. I don't know if he left, but he parked the car and didn't race.
Yeah, he actually stayed after the race, and he kept signing autographs for fans. So at the very least, he saved some face there.
Okay. So your thoughts about that, Reid? Or is it your turn, Jay?
I'll let Reid, because I've already kind of okay. Okay, so yeah, there you go. All Sports All Day said the same thing in his defense. He still stayed after, signed autographs.
Yeah.
Being around in the dirt track world, when you get put to the back, this isn't a 400-lap race where you have time to make it up. Whether he felt he shouldn't have been penalized or whatever, but there might have been something wrong with right out of the keyboard. You took the words right out of the keyboard. That's funny. Whether he felt that was right or wrong, there might have been something wrong with the car, or just the accepting of, hey, if I'm going to the back, even if I make up 5 positions, my payout isn't going to change. I'm not going to tear up the car or whatever. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it. I'm just saying there might be some valid reasons to accept the defeat and take it off the track, okay? But as you said, he did still stay around and sign autographs. So again, he didn't carry it over and take it out on the fans. If he disagreed with the call, he just said, okay, I'm done racing. I'll go sign autographs for the fans.
Okay, Reid, your thoughts.
Yeah, I love that Hocevar. Whenever he's not even racing in NASCAR, he still manages to make every headline imaginable. Yeah, he still defended himself, saying that he wasn't, rage quitting in his quotes. At the end of, if it was that big of a deal, I feel like he would have faced more repercussions from his team. But I think, you know what? It's Carson Hocevar. It's Hot Topics Monday, so it's. Get over it, I guess.
Yeah. All Sports All Day.
Celebrate Ty Majeski.
Yeah, celebrate Ty Majeski. Yay.
There you go.
There was nothing wrong with it. He said he didn't want to risk wrecking the car in back of the pack. And that goes to what Jay was saying. Bro thought he was rage quitting on stream or something. Yeah, a lot of people probably did think that. And it's possible, but there's so many other things it could have been.
It's not like he parked the car on the start-finish line, got out and walked away and left it sitting there.
like Josh Williams.
Man, I love that. And he got penalized and he was in the wrong. I get it, but I loved it. That's rage quitting.
I was there for that race, and the fans were very happy about it. I wasn't, because the caution laps were taking so long that race.
I get it. There was some negative to it, but I did love it. If that was one where they were talking about taking up donations to pay his fine, I'd have contributed. I was like, that was worth it.
That move got him his right at colleague.
Exactly.
Can't even have a quiet Wednesday night without getting Hocevar, as John Hunter Nemechek would say. You was Chastain, now it's Hocevar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now I do have one more big announcement before we go. Next week, Jay Huseman is not going to be able to be here, but I have a replacement. And this was before we knew Reid was coming with us. And I think Reid will be with us next week, right, Reid?
Yep. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, but we are going to have somebody else with us next week on Hot Topic Sound Off. And it is none other than one of our chat drivers, one of our chat people, and that is All Sports All Day. So we're going to unmask. We're going to unmask All Sports All Day, and he's going to come on our NASCAR Hot Topic Sound Off next week as one of our participants right here in the studio. So I'm looking forward to it. Welcome aboard, All Sports All Day.
He's got a lot to say, so
bringing
to get it all out.
Bringing the spoon to the show. Yep. See, yeah, I was right with you. Yep, literally gonna bring it to the show.
He says literally he's gonna bring a wooden spoon.
I'll bring a fork.
I should have a wooden. What'd you say?
I said I'll bring a fork.
Bring a fork.
Yeah.
Okay, so All Sports All Day is bringing the spoon, and Reid's gonna bring the fork.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. I got to gather myself up here, man. Is that better or worse? I don't know if that's like bringing the knife to a gunfight that you're going to come out on. I've never had anybody bring the fork.
If you bring the fork.
Fired
up with the fork.
No, the knife is too visceral. We're just having a good time, so we gotta.
So I just wanted to make that announcement. I think it's going to be a lot of fun next week. Well, of course, we're going to miss Jay Huseman.
I do need to step away because I don't know how to defend myself against a whack of a wooden spoon and a fork being poked. So I got to take some time away and figure out how to work this.
Yeah.
I think I'm bringing a spoon to the fork fight. That might not end well.
Yeah, I don't know. That was awesome, Reid.
We'll be cordial. It's okay.
So does that mean I need to bring a knife?
No, we're good.
Okay.
I'm going on vacation, and you're going to be with family and cooking and eating. So I'm bringing the plate because I want to know what y'all are eating with the fork and the spoon. That's all. I'll be like, serve me some.
Okay. So we did have our bits and pieces earlier today with the lineup for this week. I did want to mention that Reid's going to have those articles out this week. And, we've put up the information for the in-season tournament over at fanforracing.com as well. So anything more that, Reid, anything you want to say before we go?
No, just that, I really enjoyed being here. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to the rest of this year.
And Reid, by the way, is going to be on the Fantasy Report this Friday as well. So I asked him what sounded good to him. What did he want to be involved in? He told me NASCAR Hot Topics and the Fantasy Report.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
I've talked to Taz, and he said, bring him on.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be good. And Jay, what are your parting comments?
Well, normally, and I don't know if he's still on here, normally at the end of the shows on Monday nights, it's Jamie that gets me worked up and fired up. Reid, you put me in a good mood. That was just hilarious. Caught me so off guard. So I could get off in a good mood. No, I was in a good mood. You're right. It is. We have a lot of fun here. You fit right in. It's been great having you on there, and look forward to, like you said, the rest of the year with you. So looking forward to it. Sharon, he said it. Thank you for the opportunity. That's what we all love and appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, it's my pleasure. I enjoy it. And I told him about Jason Schultz story. So he started when he was 15, though. And it's always been a lot of fun.
I'm out of my prime. It's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
I was 15 2 times 3. I mean,
I'm way out there. Okay.
You don't look a day over 30.
Yeah, thanks. All Sports All Day says I'm actually pretty cool and collective, except when Foxisms occur, and that's when I get riled up. I will have my fired up. I got a feeling I'm going to need this next week. I think
awesome.
He's going to be fired up. Okay, so we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We really do appreciate you guys. I love the interaction that we're getting on NASCAR Hot Topics Sound Off, and keep it coming. And those of you, if you're just watching and not commenting, we encourage everybody to comment. It doesn't have to be our regulars. We like new people as well. And he says, my mood Monday depends on who's in the booth for the truck race on Friday. But thank you everybody for jumping in and commenting and being here. And even if you're not commenting, we appreciate you being here to hear what we have to say. Another awesome night here at Bamford Racing Radio. Our next live stream is Fear the Fork. Our next live stream is on Wednesday night at 6:00 with the Race Chat Live guys. So right here on Bamford Racing Radio. So it's at 6:00 Central Time. You want to definitely participate in that too. And I know some of our folks here participate in both. So we welcome everybody. And I know Damian Bean's been coming over and commenting a little bit here. He's from the Race Chat Live group. And so really enjoying the interaction. So thank you many, many times for everybody who is participating here. Thank you to Jay. Thank you to Reid for being here. I like this format. I'll just be the moderator and kind of keep things on track if you don't mind.
Good luck with that.
and just kind of keep the show moving. So thank you, everybody.
May the fork be with you.
And the spoon.
That's a good one.
Okay. Take care of everybody. Take care, everyone. And we will see you on our next video. We do have an interview tomorrow with Chris Crichton. So watch for that to come out.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Okay. You going to try and control that, Sharon? That's
it's going to be
a tall task. That's a tall task.
I'll do my best. Take care, everybody.